Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy pre weekend, no matter where you are. If you are here, we're grateful. If you're not here, get here as soon as you can so you can talk some basketball. That's right. We are entering the first full weekend of NBA preseason action. Happy October 7th, 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. starting next week. As always, powered by slamgoods.com. Head over to Slam Goods right now to pick up all of your basketball apparel and accessories needs. You can use promo code HoopSpaces. That's promo code HoopSpaces, one word, and receive 15% off your entire purchase. And might I suggest, ladies and gentlemen, that you go there to slamgoods.com and pick up HoopSpace's favorite Rewind Series magazine featuring Allen Iverson, the answer. And if you haven't figured it out, it is my birthday. I will go ahead and take all your birthday wishes and jokes. As life and karma has decided to play pranks on me, my son's cat got loose and knocked over the coffee. Of course, that Starbucks got wrong. So my birthday's going great. All right, if you want a mic, go ahead and request it. We'll get you guys up. We got a lot to talk about. Both the Nets and the Lakers lost. The T-Wolves look good. The Hawks look good. The Heat look good. The Nets don't. We'll talk about it. Be back in 30. All right. Hey, welcome, everybody. Happy Friday, back and better than ever. Got to be careful saying that because apparently that might be trademarked by Mike Greenberg, formerly of Mike and Mike in the Morning over at ESPN. But I still kind of like it because we are here today, back again, and better than yesterday because that's at least how I look at life. If you're not waking up trying to be 1% better every day, then what are you doing? So today's my birthday. Let's get that out the way. Happy birthday to me. If you want to come up and that's all you want to say, by all means, raise your hand. But we do have some great basketball to talk about. I already see a couple of people ready to go. My man Cash, aka NBA OG, Sebastian, ladies and gentlemen, from the pool party fame, is in the building. They're already up on stage. If you do want a mic to come on up, go ahead, raise those hands. We'll go ahead and go to Cash first since he was here first. Morning, bro. How you doing?
Hey Chris, what's going on, my man? How you been? How's your son? How's everything?
Well, like I'm for real. The cat knocked over this coffee, and they got the order wrong, right? Like that's the first thing.
So the cat rocking with you.
Well, look. I didn't care that they got the order wrong. I didn't have the 10 minutes to wait for them to fix it, so I took it. Um, I moved where I record from because I'm getting ready to redesign that room to be an actual studio.
Right.
And so I'm sitting here in the living room. I put the cat in my son's room, and he got out. And then like I'm trying to go get a water and go do something else, and then all of a sudden I hear splash.
Yeah, cat was looking out for you. Said you don't want that. This is not what you ordered. That's the way I look
Yeah,
at it.
well,
But
I
yo,
look at it that the
just
cat.
came to say congratulations on it. Yeah, man. Looking forward to this year. We appreciate you, man. Last year was a hell of a ride, man. But definitely, man. Congratulations, and we see the hard work. We see the hard work, brother. That's all.
Oh, appreciate it, man. We got Sebastian up here this morning as well. Sebastian, good morning.
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, everybody. Um, First of all, happy birthday.
Thank you.
I hope you have a really good day today and spend lots of good time with your family and loved ones. First of all, and yeah, I want to talk some Heat basketball.
Oh, and you're gonna be able to because I tell you, the Heat looked real good
Yeah,
yesterday, and those Nets they did not.
I'm really impressed with the young kids, man. Really, really, really impressed. And that's crazy because growing up, I used to look at all these players. They were so much older than me. Now I'm 22, and we're seeing a Nikola Jovic. A Nikola Jovic, 19-year-old, that Spoelstra said in the presser that he was still doing his finals for high school.
Yeah. People
That
didn't
is
realize it.
crazy. I'm amazed. I'm amazed.
Really?
He's 19. I obviously don't really follow EuroLeague basketball that much. Actually, not at all. I only watch FIBA basketball for what it is. But I didn't know anything about him. And he comes out yesterday, puts out that great performance. He had a great stat line. He played 60 minutes, 10 points, 4 out of 7. He had a couple blocks. He had a couple steals. I'm amazed at
Well,
him.
we'll get to it because I know a lot of Heat fans are already clamoring, trying to say Rookie of the Year,
I
and
won't go
I'm
too
going to stay
far. I
on.
won't go too far like that. We'll see. We'll see.
I will tell you this. The last birthday that I had that I really celebrated, I'm gonna let you guess what I had as my meal. It's from Puerto Rico, so you can get.
Coleslaw.
Ooh. Let me see. I was about to say coleslaw, but now that you said Puerto Rico, you gotta
Yeah.
think. We got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, no, you do, and it's probably the most well known
The most
outside of Puerto Rico.
the most well known outside of mofongo.
Yes,
Yeah, of course. I was about to say arroz con gandules or
no,
pernil
Mongo.
or something like that, but mofongo. How did you have it? There's a
Uh,
couple.
roasted pork, fried shrimp, the pork cracklings with the green plantains
Mm.
that were baked, and it came with like a small side salad, mixed greens, mango, onion, cilantro, and this tomato type of hot sauce that was like a combination between a cocktail sauce and a traditional
Yeah,
hot
so
sauce.
that's like what we call salsa criolla.
There you go.
It's like a local sauce down there, man. Oof. It's 10 in the
See,
morning and you're getting me hungry. I haven't even had breakfast. I'm gonna have to, cook up some rice and beans again then.
look, I think about food 24/7.
Oh, same
Uh,
here. Same here.
all right, we got KP up here. KP, good morning. I know you also excited about talking some Heat basketball because you get to bash the Nets, who put up a paltry, what, 80 points. Man, we're gonna get to that game. Ben Simmons is catching hell. We'll talk about that. KP, good morning.
Good morning, Christopher. Appreciate you. Happy birthday. Hope everything is. Hey, Chris, is there a Puerto Rican version of French fries? Because I was trying to get a GoFundMe going for your birthday and send that to you. I don't know if they do it by the liter or by the pound.
There,
I don't know.
there really isn't because they actually know good food and they don't waste their time on French fries.
No. Hold on,
They've
a
got
second.
this.
Hold
They
on
have
a second.
fried plantains though that'll knock your socks off.
Okay, I was just asking. I was just wondering because I know that's just one of your delicacies that you love so much. So I wanted to make sure you had a perfect birthday. Also, shout out to all the sensitive Nets fans that I had one particular guy on my mentions yesterday, so I had to flame him with hot oil that I would use my fries in. Because he asked me why don't I say good things about KD ever on my timeline. I said, hey, why you care? Like he's an op. Why would I cheer for? Hey, people! It's okay not to cheer for NBA players. You don't have to cheer for. You don't have to respect them. You don't gotta like them. You don't gotta say nice things about them, especially if they're trying to get what your favorite player is trying to get. No, I would never cheer for another player. No, I don't want. I want your team to fail miserably. I want your favorite player's cough to get a flat tire on his way to the game. I want you I want your favorite player not to be able to find a babysitter for his kids so he's late for the game. I want all of that stuff to happen. All of it. And then lastly, Chris, it's been a year since your birthday, right? So you have encumbered the year of KP was right, again. Been right on everything I've been saying in this app since Android got spaces. I've been right on everything I've been saying. So I have more predictions coming up this week on Sunday after we review House of the Dragon. The 8th episode is coming. It's getting good. It's going to be the Dance of the Dragon. It's going to be so wonderful. It's the best show on TV. We cover it every Sunday right after the show is over, so you can get your fresh thoughts off. You can follow me to get that space. But in between now and then, if your team plays and you lose and you look as embarrassing as the Nets did, yeah, you're going to get these flames. You're going to get this slander. You're going to get this heat. You're going to get this hate. Fresh out the kitchen with a side of fries. Happy birthday.
All right, fresh out the kitchen with a side of fries. If someone were to actually give me French fries on my birthday, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, you'll be asked to leave. Like,
I just Uber eat them to you. I don't gotta be there to give it to you.
At least they ask you to leave. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
And they don't just punch you in the face like Drake.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't got the violence factor any longer, man. Like,
is that bad guy? Is that bad guy? My brother, bad guy.
Yo, KP, what's the word?
Salute to the bad guy.
Salute to the bad guy. Year 2 of Hoop Space is getting ready to launch on Monday. Back at it again, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Make sure if you want to know when we're open, set the notifications, shoot a follow if you haven't. But generally speaking, if you're not following already, you're probably not going to follow, which boggles my mind because like some of y'all in here every day. I'm like, how the hell do y'all know? Anyway, we got Micah, we got Schoolboy, Alan is up here, Jose's up here. We'll get to you guys in a minute. Let me give you the scores from Wednesday and last night. Ladies and gentlemen, they do play basketball in Charlotte. I promise you. But it's just not really good. Pacers, 122. Hornets, 97. And I can't tell you how bad this game was. It was bad. It was so bad that my aunt, who's a lifelong Pacers fan, she's 57. Like, this is all she does is watch Pacers and Colts. After last night, wanted to just leave Indianapolis. They win, but she's like, it's false hope because it's only the Charlotte Hornets. That's how bad the Hornets looked like. Cavs lose to the Sixers, 113-112, and what probably will be a potential second-round playoff matchup. That game was fire. Tyrese Maxey's season is here. Raptors beat the Celtics 125-119 in the Garden. The Mavericks beat the Thunder 98-96. And the Phoenix Suns, fresh off a spanking by the Adelaide 36ers, barely beat the Los Angeles Lakers 119-115. That was Wednesday. Here are your games from last night. The Hawks look really good. They beat the Bucks 123-113. DeJounte Murray 25-8-9. Shout out Hawks Fan TV. If you want to follow the Hawks this year here on Twitter Spaces, that's the group you need to follow, Hawks Fan TV. The Heat, dominant performance over the Brooklyn Nets. And it was so dominant, ladies and gentlemen, that the argument within Heat Twitter was which one of these 10-day contract or two-way players needs to get booted out to put Jamal Cain in, who went off for 15, 11, and 5 steals. Just completely eviscerated the Nets on the defensive end. 109-80, your final. Kevin Durant, look, y'all, you can be like KP. You cannot like him. You can hate him, but the man is a certified bucket. Like, easy 22. Like, so easy that I forgot he even played in the game. The Thunder beat those Adelaide 36ers who dominated the Phoenix Suns. Ladies and gentlemen, 131-98. And I said this in the Hoop Spaces group chat. Shout out to those who are in it. Trey Mann, and I said this when he was drafted, Trey Mann will be the reason why Shai Gilgeous-Alexander traded away from the Oklahoma City Thunder. 26 points. The man grew another 2 inches since his time at the University of Florida. This kid, or young man, I should say, is going to be phenomenal. Think CJ McCollum, but 2 inches taller, right? I think he'll have a chance to be a stalwart offensive player for years to come. The Magic got out-tanked by the San Antonio Spurs in preseason. That's right. The tank for Victor, the Victor Wembanyama Olympics is on. And the Magic have lost the first battle. 102-99 victorious over the San Antonio Spurs. Wendell Carter Jr., 20-10 will single-handedly make sure the Orlando Magic have zero shot at the number 1 overall pick. The Trailblazers, they handled the Maccabi team from the Israel League, 138-85. Shaedon Sharpe looking good and healthy, 27 points. Norris Cole making an appearance back on the NBA stage, leading the way for Maccabi, 19-6 with 3 steals. And ladies and gentlemen, they started out slow in the first quarter, and then they said, hey, we're better. The Timberwolves beat the Lakers 114-99. And if you look up top, I have my quick breakdown of it. I'm going to say this. It is not a far-fetched theory that Anthony Davis could be both the leader in three-point percentage and three-point makes per game for the Lakers because, damn, like, y'all, they were arguing and complaining about Russell Westbrook bricking last year. The whole team just bricked this preseason game, and it's going to be interesting to see what Darvin Ham can do because a lot is going to be overreaction for some people. You can tell they're initiating a new offense, totally fine. You got to be able to hit open threes at this level, even if it's preseason. And there were some threes that looked like I shot them. So there you go. All right, we got a full deck on board. So if you do want to come on up, raise the hand. We'll work some people out. Let me go ahead and get through some shout outs before we go. Another birthday boy is here. Another creator, part of the Hoop Spaces family. That's Saint from Nets Kingdom. If you want some Nets content that isn't, so overly dramatic right now, Saint's the man. He also shares my birthday, so you got to follow him, right? You can catch him on YouTube with Nets Kingdom AJ. He's big in with Nets Twitter, like Jay from BK, Emily Austin, and Scoop B. Make sure you check him out. Also down below, we have Chris Milholland covering the Brooklyn Nets for Show Fan Nation, Words at Nets Daily. Also a voting member of the Naismith Hall of Fame. Make sure you shoot him a follow. The Cortland Christian in the building. Also, Jeremy Nichols, happy early birthday to Jeremy. Make sure you shoot him a follow as you watch his Denver Nuggets start out strong and fade down the stretch as I see. That's what I see happening. Anyway, we're going to get back to it. We're going to open it up with the very first game, Heat Nets. We will go to Sebastian first because he beat JFK. We'll then go to JFK. That'll break down the Heat. We've got Alan, Schoolboy, Micah, Tony, Jose, and Killer Gaddafi all up and running. And then Chris Mulholland will come up here and tell us why we need to get off the Nets and they're going to be okay. Appreciate it, everybody. Good morning. We will go to Sebastian. Sebastian, let's break down this Heat Nets game. Go ahead.
Okay, so since it's a preseason game, I don't really want to go into like the final result of the game, but I want to go more into like the personal performances from the young guys in the team, and like the overall how Spo was working the defense. One thing that I really appreciated from the game was watching Spo give these young guys and say, "Hey, you go guard KD." And even though, as you said before, Chris, KD is him. KD is a bucket. There's no way to stop him, honestly. But seeing Spo giving these kids, not kids, these young guys, giving them the opportunity to go, hey, like, go guard him, go put in that work, go do that. I really like it. And that was like, even though KD was getting most of the buckets, he had a great game yesterday. But seeing the hustle, seeing the tenacity from the younger guys on the team, going at it and accepting the challenge of having to guard a guy like KD was really nice to see. Also, I didn't know that Jovic had that on the defensive side of the ball. Pre-draft defense, I believe, was one of his main concerns. But there were a couple of plays where he was playing off ball, where you could really see his anticipation to the pass, like covering up all the passing lanes. In the steal that he had against Ben Simmons, perfect anticipation, perfect spot, and a perfect steal and slam. That's really what you want to see, especially in a Spo-led Heat team. And having that really, really, really bright spot at only 19 years of age is really promising. Kane also had a really good game, and he's not in the active roster. I think he's only on Exhibit 10 or something like that. He's something like that, and he had a really, really, really good game too. He had, I believe, what was it, like 15 points, something like that. And I know I was emphasizing a lot on the younger guys, but I have to point out, Bam, in the limited amount of minutes, he wasn't afraid to take the shot. He was, you know, he was taking the, he was drawing fouls. He was taking the middies. He was putting the ball on the floor really, really good. And I don't know, I'm just pretty impressed at the performance overall. As I said, I don't want to go into the final result because I'm not going to flex over a preseason win. But I think I can confidently say that I'm happy from what I saw yesterday, from
Good.
the individual performances.
I do want to give another shout out to some Miami Heat players. Ladies and gentlemen, I have said it before. I claim the DMV. I was born in Texas, but I claim the DMV. Shout out Wheeling Jesuit alum, B More Zone, Haywood Highsmith. Great game last night. Literally is going to walk in and be PJ Tucker for like the next 8 years. Like literally watching him
I
yesterday,
agree. I agree.
PJ
He's a
Tucker.
dog.
He had 21 minutes. He took 4 threes. He missed all four, but he took them. 5 points, 5 assists. Great defense. So I want to make sure he gets shouted out too. Next up, we're going to go to JFK. He's going to give us some more Miami breakdown. We'll move up to Chris Mulholland to talk about some Nets. We've got Micah, Schoolboy, KP Allen, Tony, and Killer Gaddafi up on deck, and we'll take it that way. JF, what's up, man? Good morning.
Morning, Chris. Did I hear it's your birthday today?
Yeah, it is. I'm old.
Hey, shouts out to you, Chris, and my baby mama, man. Both of y'all share the same birthday. It's a great day to have a great day. So appreciate y'all for that. Second thing, the Heat game last night, man. I'll say this: Jamal Cain is definitely going to get his contract. He are one of those teams that are they can always find a diamond in the rough, especially when it comes to these 10-day contracts. We saw Omer Yurtseven starts off, and look where he finished. We saw Max Strus start off with a 10-day contract where he finished. Even Kyle Guy came in last year and did what he had to do on a 10-day contract. I know he didn't finish off, but these 10-day contract guys, for some reason, have the ability once they ever touch a Miami Heat jersey to just ball. So I love what Jamal Cain did last night. 5 steals, 15 points. I did not expect that, but you also got a shout out to Drew Smith. 12 minutes and 12 points. Like, the man was on fire. He was very active, has a very high motor. So I appreciate him. Hayward Highsmith, yeah, he's another PJ Tucker, but I do expect him to raise his value a lot more, especially since he's just a young dude. So I believe that his shooting is going to get a little bit better. His inside offensive presence is going to get a little bit better. But Nikola Jovic, I think when Spoelstra went with Nikola Jovic and Duncan Robinson, it kind of made more separation on the floor for both of them to work and have their own space. So I think I like that for Duncan Robinson, just because Nikola Jovic's presence as a 6'10" guy is so huge that when he plays either a small guard or a 3 or 4 position, he's usually overtowering somebody. To be honest, I love the way he played defense on Ben Simmons, because now that Ben Simmons is not being a point guard, it's going to really expose Ben Simmons for who he is. And that's just the first part of it. Nikola Jovic, he was the best European player, not in the NBA last year, and I'm glad that the Heat took him up because we need one of those. Look, we already had Dragic from Serbia, and that's where we went right back to look at Serbia. I don't know what they got the water in Serbia, but all them boys know how to play some ball, and they know how to translate really good into the NBA. Just looking at Luka Doncic. So from what I saw last night with the Heat, we still have either. It doesn't matter who's going to be on our bench. I think we're still going to have one of the best benches coming into the season. I think Spoelstra's still going to know how to run these guys, and the most important thing is that these guys are bought in. You can tell the difference between different players on different teams when they're bought in compared to when the Heat and their players and how they're bought in. It really doesn't matter who comes and who goes. It just stays the same with being bought in. So I love that we beat up on the Nets last night. Nets, they got a lot of things to worry about besides Kevin Durant. And that's the remainder of the team. So I appreciate you, Chris. Oh, and have a happy birthday,
Appreciate.
man.
I will. Thank you, and I appreciate you, JF. And you know what? I think this is the first time that there wasn't Draymond Green slander with you opening up. So
You
you
know
know
what,
what?
Chris? I saw a fake.
That's
I saw a fake post yesterday that he got released by the Warriors. Boy, I was about to have a field day. I had to like double check, triple check my sources just to make sure it
Ball
wasn't
sack.
true. So that
ball
was
sack.
coming, Chris. It was coming.
And just to let everybody know, there's allegedly leaked video that TMZ has acquired of the confrontation. Um,
Already
I
saw
said,
it, Chris. It doesn't look good.
yeah, look, I said it actually after the event, like a little bird landed on my shoulder and said there's no drama. And the reason why I said there's no drama is because everybody already knew who was wrong in the situation, right? Like a lot of people are manufacturing drama because they want the drama, but everybody knew who was wrong. The person who was wrong knew they were wrong.
Who
And
was wrong?
say what?
Who was wrong?
In that situation specifically, Draymond Green. And he's already apologized. He apologized, from what I understand, immediately after calming down, and then he apologized again in the morning to the team. So to me, like that's why they're able to handle it internally, is because the person who, in this specific incident, was wrong admitted in culpability almost immediately.
You don't think Steph Curry had anything to do with this?
No,
Klay Thompson?
no. Chris Milhall is gonna hop in here. He's gonna give us a counterbalance. You got to make sure you shoot him a follow. He'll be fast rising up in the ranks of the NBA beat writers, covering the Brooklyn Nets and everything. Big three now of Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. Chris, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning, brother. I didn't want to take the shine off you. Happy big birthday. Hope you got a great day planned. Obviously, I just want to say first and foremost that, hey, you've been killing Hoop Spaces. Very happy for you with the partnership that you had a couple months ago that you announced as well. So that I didn't want to take any focus away from that. You're the big man. And happy birthday, brother.
Oh.
First and foremost, though.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So going to this Nets game, right? Obviously, it was very ugly, and Steve Nash said it before in media day that hey, it's going to be ugly at times, and there's no better example than what happened last night, right? And when you look at kind of just evaluate the whole game, you could tell one that obviously Ben Simmons was very passive. We all expected him to be very passive, and especially with scoring the ball. So when you look at who played and who didn't play. Obviously, the Nets were without Joe Harris, who was held out of precaution with ankle soreness, and Steve Nash is hopeful that it's not something that prolongs and can turn into a long-term thing. But obviously, Nets fans know the kind of the history behind Joe Harris's ankle with the 2 surgeries last season. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, no, they got the brakes beat off them yesterday. There's no sugarcoating it at all when you look at what happened there, right? They came up short really in every aspect of the game. They didn't match the Heat's toughness from even the tactics, and you could just tell that number one. I know a lot of Nets fans hate to hear this, and I know Steve Nash throws it out commonly, but yeah, this is a new team, right? So when they didn't come anywhere close to matching any of the Heat's tactics and toughness. The end result obviously was a 29-point loss, and then on top of that, like I said with Ben, it's obviously you could throw in the tactics at one that hey, he's still getting adjusted back to the NBA game, getting to know his new teammates. Out of any of the teammates that he has even a little chemistry with, I would say it's Royce O'Neal. He did a pretty good job finding him along the perimeter when Royce was moving out there. Markieff Morris had a good showing off the bench, obviously 10 points in 15 minutes. He was also pretty aggressive on the boards with 6 there. And then, overall, I wouldn't say it's time to worry about this team. It's preseason. I know the NBA is big on having, obviously, what happens in the moment is the biggest thing. But, once this team can get fully healthy, obviously that's a big if, knowing that's in recent years. But we'll see if Seth Curry plays Wednesday. We'll see, obviously, TJ Warren when he comes back in November. But, overall, yesterday wasn't a great showing. And all in all, the showing most importantly showed that Ben Simmons really needs these next 2 preseason games as much as the Nets need the next 2 preseason games.
Yeah, I think the Nets do need the extra run. Question about this camaraderie thing, because the Nets team, they've gone out of their way to highlight the team building that the Nets are doing. So are we just looking at an unfamiliarity that's going to kind of work itself out rather quickly, or are we looking at basically a player that might not necessarily fit in the role that they need him to fit in, being Ben Simmons?
Yeah, gotcha. So that you hit it on the nail a little bit in the part two, right? Because the Nets are still working on how to utilize Ben Simmons, and at the same time, Ben Simmons disclosed yesterday after the game that hey, the Nets haven't even still implemented those offensive schemes in those 2 preseason games yet, right? So with Ben, you could tell that obviously the surplus of shooting around him from Seth Curry, T.J. Warren, obviously all the wings, Kessler Edwards could be a bright spot for this team, considering what his role could be. You go down the list of just the shooting. That's where Ben Simmons is going to make his bread and butter here, right? He's going to be able to create opportunities for his teammates along the perimeter, obviously, because there's going to be so much gravity along that shooting paired right next to the stars with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, that's where he's really going to make his impact. Then you got to see, okay, how are they going to work him at the 5, right? We saw glimpses of that in the first preseason game in the small ball lineup, and obviously you could tell that Ben Simmons wasn't accustomed to that, right? It was something that I guess he was new to, that he felt like it was new to. You could tell as well that, hey, they probably didn't work that much in the 6-day training camp with him at the 5 there. And, with the whole continuity thing, it's one of those things that this team lacks, obviously. That you don't even have to watch basketball to know that when you look at this team on paper, right? And obviously for a Miami Heat team that's really had their core intact for multiple years, you could kind of get that glimpse that hey, they obviously took that edge throughout that whole game yesterday. So you could even date it back to the Boston series. They got killed in that aspect, the size and length. Obviously, the Nets added size and length to this roster, but it's going to be clearly a work in progress on both sides of the ball. Nash said that, hey, defensively, that's going to be our staple. Similar statement to what he made last year when the season opened. But, it's not – I don't think it's going to be a pretty-looking season through the first 10 games of the season, at least from my opinion.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. We got a lot of hands up. We're going to move quickly to Killer Gaddafi, who's also a Nets fan. We'll get his take on it. And if you guys have questions for Chris Milholland, I'm sure he'll take it. But if you have it down below and you can't get up on stage because the stage is full, we'll start cycling people out almost at the top of the hour. But there's a chat box down there. So if you do have a question for Chris, you can either put it down there and we'll try to get it up here, or you can go ahead and send a tweet to him now as you send him a follow. Chris, before I get to Killer, you got any recent pieces you want to highlight so we can put out there?
Not there. Honestly, it's preseason, so it's preseason content. So Kevin talked about Victor Wembanyama yesterday. Obviously, hey, I've said it on Twitter. I think he's got the highest chance, and I'm very sold on him. I think when he enters this league, depending on what team he goes to, obviously the system and obviously the status of that team, I'm gonna say it early, man. I could see him winning Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same season if he gets onto the right team. I'm really high on this guy. So obviously I wrote that up. Kevin did remarks on him. The game. I guess the game summary I did for Nets Daily. You could look at the box score. There isn't much to it. You could kind of see what obviously Steve had to say afterwards. Ben had to say afterwards on what he's learning and how he's adjusting. And then Kevin's thoughts, where he mostly just said, "Hey, I hated everything about this one, but everyone did come out healthy."
Yeah, a lot. You know what? He's been in the league forever now, and a lot of people just haven't figured KD out. And he tells you the truth. He just
he's transparent, man. You gotta love it. I love when Kevin speaks.
Yeah, I love it. All right, Killer, what's up, man? Good morning. Your thoughts on the Heat Nets game from last night? What's your breakdown?
Hey, what's up, Chris? Hey,
what up,
happy birthday. And just want to give you a shout out and everyone over here, especially what you do, man, with the hoops community and this thing that you do. Appreciate it very much. Like I said, I listen to it when I'm at work. I may not be able to jump in, but I'm able to listen to it, the recordings and everything. So appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Okay, now to the Ben Simmons slander. I mean the Nets game. I'm sorry. All right, no, let me be serious. But at the same time, I had a lot of people tell me, "Oh, you're too hard on Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, well, give him a chance. Give him a chance." Like, the reason I have zero faith in Ben Simmons is because the guy that he proved that he's been for the last couple of years. I don't know why Nets fans my fellow Nets fans fell for the okie doke of those videos he was posting on his Instagram, or the Nets was posting that he made one jump shot and we're like, oh, this Ben Simmons is gonna be different. He's shooting threes. Oh no, like come on, man. Like there's this clip that I don't know who tweeted it, but I could only laugh with KD passing the ball when he's backing up Kyle Lowry. And then as soon as he gets the ball, he throws it back to KD. And KD was like, no, man, back him up. And he throws him back the ball. It's like, all right, I'm going to throw it across the way. Since you just go throw it. Like, this is who the guy is. Like, he's passive. Like, and I'm not trying to get on him, but this is the reason why I don't have any faith in him. You know, I get it. It's a new team, but it's still the same core. Like, as a Nets fan, I ask myself, I'm not gonna put too much stock. Like I said yesterday, I tweeted out, I'm not gonna put too much stock in a preseason game. You know, but Ben Simmons do have to be aggressive. But I'm just wondering what's gonna happen when these type of games happen during the regular season. Like we had all this, like Saint talks about it all the time in the spaces. We have those having these kumbaya moments. Everything is good now, but what happens during the regular season when they get beat down like this? You know. What happens? Like, is Kevin going to be patient? Oh, and that Joe Harris news, like, we know how the Nets fans know how the Nets medical team is. And for Steve Nash to be like, I just hope, you know, we kept him out as a precaution. I don't think it's going to be an issue. But they thought he was coming back in January last year. They thought he was coming back for the playoffs. You know, hopefully it's not an issue, but, you know, I know Nets fans have been saying who should they trade, Seth or Joe. Like I love Joe, but if he can't stay on the floor, what's the point of having him? That's all pretty much all I want to say. I'm just here for the Ben Simmons slander.
and I'm sure as we continue on, you're gonna hear some specifically from my friend Cash, aka Air Maxi, who's getting ready to line it up right now. JFK and KP probably will pile it on. I want to go ahead and say thank you to everybody who's popping in here. We're going to start switching people out in about 10, 15 minutes as we get the panel up here, a chance to speak on anything they want from last night's game. Currently, we're still on Brooklyn and Miami, but we've got some other games we're going to hop to pretty soon. But we're going to go next to Cash, a.k.a. Air Maxi.
Man, listen, Chris, we need apologies for Doc Rivers, Joel Embiid, and every single Philadelphia 76er fan. They told her, listen, he had the same performance like this for years in Philly. We said, what's wrong with him? He's sabotaging us at times. And he went behind and said it was mental health. Now, I take mental health very seriously. You know, I really do. And it's nothing to joke with or whatever, but you know where I stand with that. And I don't know how they going to explain this performance. Like, y'all, it's crazy how everything turned, right? And listen, they didn't even want Ben Simmons. He just fell in their lap. And now they got to figure it out. The dude, man, Chris, if I go in, dog, I can't do it, Chris. It's going to be foul. I'm just save it up. We're going to give him the chance, and I'm going to let y'all go with the quote-unquote, it's preseason. But we told you so. And buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride, man. And whatever you see in a regular season, don't fall for it. It gets worse in the playoffs. Chris, let me get out of here, man. And I got to go check in on Bam Adebayo. I got to go. I paid his bail money. I paid his bail bond last night when he caught a body last night. He out on bail, so I got to make sure, he don't skip trial. So you get somebody else up, bro. Like,
good last night, man.
Yeah, I'm going to just load the clip, about the Draymond thing. Like, I think a little jealousy of Jordan Poole. Maybe he was protecting him, because Jordan Poole should be starting. I'm looking at Jordan Poole on the bench like James Harden, his first year on the Rockets, him on the bench over there at OKC still. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at like Tyrese Maxey getting his shot. Jordan Poole deserves to start. He absolutely deserves to start. He was better defended than Clay. Him and Wiggins saved that team numerous times last year. And what's happened to him is absolutely just nasty. Absolutely nasty. I didn't see nobody jumping in or nothing like that. Where's the leadership from Steph Curry in the locker room? Where's the leadership? What happened with Dre and KD? Now you see this? It's just foul, man. This is just foul, man. Let me see what happens, man. We just let it rock.
Just throwing out grenades, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready for another season of Cash with the Air Maxi handle right now. He'll change it. Don't worry. Man, I appreciate you coming through. I can't wait to see you come in. KP, then JF Cake will close out this Brooklyn Miami talk with JF Cake after KP. Then we're going to go down to Micah, Schoolboy. We got Tony, Allen, Eke, and Malaya up here. TJ's getting ready to come up here. Look, I said it in a tweet. People are like, you don't know what you're saying. All this is bad. And I said, no, listen to what I'm saying. There's no drama here because the person who's viewed as the culprit said, yo, that was my bad. I did it and apologized. Right? Like, that isn't that what we want? KP, what's your thoughts? Go ahead.
Yeah, Chris, I'm gonna be real quick because I gotta get back to what I gotta do. But was Kevin Durant like throwing the ball? Like, is he a good passer of the ball? Like, can he pass the ball to a player without turning it over? Like, what's going on? And I was told by the good coach Steve Nash, quote unquote, we don't care if Ben never shoot the ball. Funny, I don't care either. So I could be the coach of the Nets if I was. You could call me KP, the coach, and say, hey, Ben Simmons, you don't got to shoot the ball. I could do that. Shout out to the Nets. I said it before. I'll say it again. Turn the Barclays Center into a homeless shelter because it's full of bums anyway. This is the first and last time I'm going to slander Draymond with JFK. JFK, you are my arch rival. After this, people don't understand what a sucker punch is. That was a sucker punch because when you're fighting someone, they know you're about to fight. You don't fight someone. You don't punch someone with their hands down, and that's it, JFK. After that, it's beef now. Between me and you. Miami Heat fans. I don't know you personally, but yeah, I want to say thank you to Chris. Happy birthday. Hope everyone has a wonderful day.
Appreciate you, KP. No beef, no personal beef here. This is all just about basketball. And to answer your question, Kevin Durant is a phenomenal passer of the basketball.
I can't see it. Maybe I need to go to LensCrafters or something because I ain't see it yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can have a bad game, but for his volume, his offensive volume, he's got close to a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio career. So like that's dope.
Hey Chris, what's your address so I can send these French fries?
Boy, man, you ain't doing that, man. Do not follow KP down this bad track. Like you've been down there. You know how it ends badly. JFK, give us the wrap up for Brooklyn, Miami. Go ahead and throw your Draymond Green slander in there because I know you want to.
Well, first, Chris, shouts out to Bad Guy with that Maxi comparison to Jeffrey Jordan. That was a great profile pick. Second, let's go to Draymond Green. Yes, that was a sucker punch, KP. And only suckers do sucker punch. You get what I'm saying? Like, we all know who Draymond Green is. Remember last year when we got into a little scuffle on the sideline with Spoelstra and Jimmy? Hey, it wasn't even that bad because nobody threw hands. But this looks like a lot worse because there was hands thrown. And I understand he apologized, but TMZ, the snitches that they are, just released a video, and now people want to have second opinions about it, Chris. That's the repercussions that he's going to have to deal with. So the Draymond slander is going to continue. But we can go to the East Coast Draymond Green, which is Ben Simmons, and talk about him. He is who he is, Chris. Like, if they decide to put him at the 4, you know what I'm saying? He's not looking at matchups where he's just backing down small guards. And even last night when he was backing down Lowry and passing out to KD, KD's like, yo, go ahead and take it on Lowry. You can see that he's lost it. You know what I'm saying? The city of Philly, with brotherly love, tried to give him that brotherly love, but he did not accept it, Chris. And when you don't accept that brotherly love, then it's all downhill from there. You know what I'm saying? So what I have to say about that is that it's going to take a minute for that Nets core to, come together. I think that KD is still going to be doing what he does, but it's really doing his career injustice for what that team they put together. I mean, the main culprit to me is Steve Nash. I think he missed too many games last year. I don't think he is fit to run that team. There's a lot more other qualified coaches. I heard in the spaces somebody even mentioned Dwayne Casey, and I think that may have been a Nets fan. So I don't know what the Nets fans are up to. They look like they're on a roller coaster right now. I'm just liking that the Heat and we have a core that's intact, and we actually have leadership. So we're going to see if Golden State can go ahead and find theirs. Appreciate it, Chris.
Yeah, you know what? I like that Dwayne Casey idea. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Chris, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a better choice.
Fits the timeline. I think probably better communication. Yeah, I like that. I'm not gonna put Chris on the spot with the Dwayne Casey thing because Dwayne Casey is an actual active head coach in the league. I'm gonna allow him to have the last say about the Brooklyn Nets, though, and make sure you shoot him a follow and check his words out, everybody, over at SI. I mean, that's dope. Like you don't have access like this, so go check him out. Make sure you check out what he's reading, but more importantly, shoot him a follow and then be interactive because he's pretty much always willing to give you an answer. I've never seen him really say no. Chris, wrap this up in a nice bow. What do you got?
Chris, you always know I say it as it is. I'll take the hard questions. I don't dodge them much. But thank you for the kind words. Once again, happy birthday. We all appreciate you for what you do in Hoop Spaces. My final words on the net side is obviously the main theme of this season is how this team will respond and how this team will answer when adversity hits, especially in the regular season. Obviously, there's some growing pains and some, I would call it obviously very small adversity since it's preseason. But, like I said before, through the first 20 games, if this kind of still carries over like this, we'll see how this team answers adversity, whether it starts at the head coach or it works its way down the roster.
Love it. I mean, you don't get anything better than that. Bottom line up front, and there is going to be work. I said 50 wins for Brooklyn this year. I'm not backing away from it. I still see a 50-win team by talent.
I got you. I got 47. I got 47.
Cool. All right. See, that's 3 games. That's pretty
There you
close.
go.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and move off the Nets and Heat. I'm gonna go ahead and give a reset in the room. I want to thank everybody for popping in on your Friday, wherever you are, spending any bit of your time here. We appreciate it. And when I say we, I mean we, the community. There's a whole bunch of creators down here that come up and speak. A whole bunch of reporters with written content. This is an avenue of engagement and content that's going to be here and grow in the future. And we're happy that you came in on the bottom floor with us. We're grateful. Down below, there's a guy who's been really helpful. His name is She, and he goes by the pickup card game during the day because that is what he's created. He took time out of his life to put two passions together, and that was the love of basketball and the love of his family. And he created this great game. It's called the pickup card game, and you can find it over at slamgoods.com. And you can also buy it there. And if you use Hoop Spaces, you save 15%. And really just shoot him a follow and check out the videos that he's been able to put together about the game and also his barnstorming tour in the summer where he was able to go to Rucker, Boston, Chicago, take part in the WNBA All-Star festivities. It's real dope. So make sure you shoot him a follow. Also, down below, ladies and gentlemen, if you're wanting to follow the NBA draft, Evan Townsend is in the building. Words at Project Spurs. Then I want to give a shout out to some people who supported us the moment they have found us. Jess, Scott, aka Nothing But Net, Danny, Mikey Krabinsky, one of the best Hawks fans here. Santa Rosa, I see you. Zach is in the building. Afisha, Logan the Foot, McKenzie, EK, James. Appreciate all of you popping in like you do. Jose's down below, Edwin Garcia, 77 Spaces, and LakersTakes.com for some Mavs and Lakers content. Up next, though, we're going to move to a friend of mine who came from Clubhouse, came to Twitter. He's only got a few minutes probably. He doesn't make it this early. That's my man, Sean. We'll then hit up Schoolboy, Alan, Micah, Eke, Tony, and Malia and TJ. Sean, good morning, man. Appreciate you. How you doing?
I was talking on mute. I deserve a horn. I deserve a horn. Good morning, good morning, good morning. First of all, happy birthday to you. As a wise man once said to me, the only thing worse than getting older is not getting older. So happy birthday to you. Every day above ground is a blessed day. In terms of the only thing I really wanted to say as I turn my car on is the Draymond punch wasn't a sucker punch. And the reason it's not a sucker punch is because once you put your hands on somebody, you better be prepared. Don't hands on nobody. Hold on a second. This thing is switching to my car. There we go. Don't put your hands on nobody. What do boxing referees say all the time? Protect yourself at all times. Once Jordan Poole pushed Draymond, gotta have your hands up. Gotta have your hands up. So I'm not saying he deserved them. I'm saying it was right or wrong. I'm just saying I don't think we should call it a sucker punch because once Jordan Poole put his hands on homeboy, he was anything was liable to go down. I mean, that's just how I was raised. I don't know about anyone else.
Yeah, no, if you ever touch an individual, that kind of opens the door for being willing to refute, accept any consequence, right? Like you tell your kids, like don't do that because of X, Y, and Z, right? And he did it, and he got a combo. Like let's not mistake anything about it. And it built up too, but this is also part of kind of the natural occurrence of close quarters competition. Anything on any of the games last night,
I
Sean?
unfortunately did not see any of the games last night. I'm just gonna tell everyone, calm down. It's preseason. Like the Knicks went 4-0 in preseason last year. We saw how that ended. The Hawks fans were giddy on the timeline yesterday. The Heat fans are giddy. The Sixers fans, let's settle down. None of these games count. No one's playing real minutes. No one even the Suns getting clapped by the 36ers. I mean, I think the Suns are the 9th seed anyway, but that's another discussion for another day. But it's preseason, guys. Settle down, relax, because you say this now, and when I catch you in here in January yelling at the top of your lungs about how y'all lost, how y'all had a 3-game losing streak because so and so ain't doing so and so. And actually, the last thing I'll say is Ben Simmons. Fool me once, shame on you. You know the rest. Just wait. Just wait. And when it happens again, I want to know what the excuse is going to be then. Because it can't be because Doc Rivers said this, or Embiid said that, or my back hurt. Nope. When it happens again, what's going to be the excuse then? I just want to see it. That's all.
All right. I tell you what, I don't think there will be an excuse this time.
Oh, there will be. There will be. There will be.
All right, let's clear some of these hands out. I want to say thank you for your patience. We will go bottom up so we can clear this out. Micah, you're up first. Good morning. Appreciate you. What do you got for NBA action the last 2 days? Then we go to Schoolboy. After that, we got Eke, and we got Tony, then Allen. What's up, Micah?
Hey, is my mic working?
Yeah, it sounds like you are at a dog kennel standing in front of a fan.
Yeah, speaking of dog, that's why I ended up with new headphones. Yeah, the life of having a puppy, I guess. But anyways, man, look, we can say it's preseason and all that, but at the end of the day, in any game, you see tendencies. And I'm going to say this. Brooklyn Nets are looking like the pumpkin spice latte of the NBA. Great idea, overhyped, super mid in real life. That's just what I'm seeing. I think we might have closed doors a little too early on Miami. I just seen things that look pretty good. I'm hoping better for Kyle Lowry, especially since he's helping one of our players develop. So I'm hoping for a bounce back year from him. And that's about it, other than happy birthday and have a great day. Thanks for letting me on.
Absolutely. And thank you for that soundbite. I am sure it's going to be sent around. And I'm sure some players are going to hear it because I'm putting that out on Twitter right now. That was a hilarious soundbite. The Nets are the pumpkin spice latte, ladies and gentlemen of the NBA. Do you agree or disagree? Courtesy of Micah. God. You're going to get a lot of people angry at you, man. We'll go to Schoolboy Jay. What's up, Schoolboy? How you doing, man? Good morning.
What's up? I never been in here, but what's up? Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And I wanted to say, did they say Kyrie had a baby? Why was he there? I'm confused about that.
What?
No, he had a baby, right? And then he's at the game. Like you either play or you don't. Don't be there.
Well, maybe he
That's
was
just,
supporting his teammates.
I know, but like if he's not gonna play, that's just my thing. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
All right, cool. Appreciate you, schoolboy Jay. Eke, tell me if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Ike.
All right, Iki, thank you for finding us, man. What you got?
Yeah, I'm a Nets fan. I watched last night's game and it wasn't a great game for me. I still have issues with the team because I was having flashbacks of last season when KD carried him, missed a couple of games, and I was trying to see how they were going to play without the stars. Because definitely KD, if you guys remember in the press conference, the start of the season, he was like, if I go down, I don't want us to maybe lose 10 games or 11 games. And the way the team played yesterday, it feels like they're still going to be on that vibe. Um, I was hoping Ben Simmons was a bit aggressive. He was too passive for me, but I'll still give him time, maybe 5 games into the season. But on the other side of me, I'll say like Cash, man, I have my own cash conspiracy, man. I feel maybe the team should just tank 10 games and Steve Nash gets fired and Udoka resigns and we get Udoka, man. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, you are down bad. Wow. Tank the first 10 games to purposely get rid of your coach and then try to bring in M.A. Doka. All right.
I go on more. I forgot to add one more thing on. I feel we need a point guard and a backup center because I don't know how we're gonna run our offense without a point guard, a backup point guard, and without a center.
You know what? I'm 100% with you on the backup center. I was in Cashbizzy's room yesterday with Saint, and they talked specifically about the backup center role. And I was going to say something, but I was picking up my son. My son walked right into the truck. Here's what I was going to say. I love Dayron Sharp. He's not a 5. Get him out of the 5. Don't ever, ever, ever put him at the 5. Let him be a big body 4.
Yeah,
Let him
yeah,
be a big body 4 and go get you a Frank Kaminsky to be a stretch 5.
yeah. I want a Jacob Porto though, if that could happen, man. Since the Spurs want to tank.
2 first. That's the
Whoa,
cost.
that's tough, man. Or maybe if the Suns tank, we could pack a lot of guys and get 18 and maybe Boss 99. Maybe the package um, Claxton and Joe Harris, maybe a set or something, man, and get a campaign too.
Look, I tell you what, if I am Brooklyn and I am looking for a big, I'm not lying. I'm calling Orlando and I'm gonna say, hey, what do you want for either Mo Bamba or Mortis Wagner? Like, I'm not lying. They got too many bigs in Orlando. They're not going to be able to play them all, specifically when Jonathan Isaac comes back. One of those two will be available. I would pick which one I could get. Appreciate you, Iki. Make sure you shoot a follow. I'll follow back so you can catch us every morning, Monday through
I
Friday.
just followed you now. Just followed you
Awesome.
now.
All right. Appreciate it, everybody. We're going to keep going to get these hands cleared out, and then we're going to move on. We've got Tony up next. Tony, appreciate you popping in, man. How you doing? Hopefully, you are doing better than your Lakers. It's the preseason, though. It's the preseason. There you go. What's up, Tony?
It's good, man, and happy birthday, and also happy birthday to my friend down here in the speaker panel, Alan. He's it's also his birthday, but yeah. Um, Last night, so I saw a little bit of the Nets and the Heat's game, and I'll be honest, that kind of reminded me a lot of the Lakers versus Kings game, kind of like the same vibe. Like there's at some point it was kind of like it was demoralizing, but at the same time, like for the Lakers, I'll be honest. It's preseason, yes. But I do like what I've been seeing. Like, yes, we're 0-3 or however you want to cut it, but I like I've been liking the energy, the starters, the rotations. Um, Again, our shooting is it's not suspect is actually a real issue. Like we can create some great action, but once you're wide open, it's just yeah. For some reason, you put purple and gold, and you kind of your 3 point shot kind of goes away. But other than that, honestly, I like it. I think the best offseason move has been Darvin Ham. I think his presence, his even the X's and O's that's just been prevalent. It showed. And honestly, for the Minnesota game, my expectation was still they were going to lose. But for that first half, showing that Minnesota had rust, like that was their first game coming into the preseason. The, for the Lakers to be up to a certain point, I was very surprised. But yeah, once they got clicking, once they got certain rotations in, and I saw I understand what a preseason game was, but honestly, other than that, yeah, I'm just excited for the season to start. I'm excited to see the starters roll with more minutes, and yeah, and honestly, just wanted to touch a little bit on the Nets. It's weird how they're using Ben. If I'm being honest, like it seems like he's off position. I'm not sure. Like I don't think you guys really do need a point guard, but at the same time, it's just I don't know what schemes you guys are doing really. But I hope you guys get healthy and see what really is this team because it seems without Seth, without Warren, there's I feel like those are key rotation players. So, but yeah, that's all I have, I guess.
All right, appreciate it, Tony, and hopefully Dennis Schroeder, who's set to return, can spark the 3 point barrage that Darvin Ham is so wanting to happen. I've never seen a first year head coach do more than Darvin Ham to try to teach his team how to hit a corner three. Like
Agreed.
every video is a tape box in the corner with Darvin Ham trying to explain, like, you need to shoot here. And do they shoot from there? Absolutely not. They shoot everywhere else but where he wants them to shoot. Like, Darvin Ham is going to lick the skin off of his lips in just irritation this year. I feel for him. All right, up next, we got two birthday boys along with me. That's Alan and Saint. That's right. Both of them are celebrating their birthday today because October 7th just happens to be the best day to happen to have a birthday. Now, I know all of you have a birthday, but for those who aren't born on October 7th, you don't understand how awesome it is to be born on the 7th of October. We'll go to Alan first. We'll close up with Saint. Happy birthday, Alan. October 7th is a phenomenal day. The stars and planets and moons aligned into our greatness. Alan, good morning. How you doing?
Nah, man. Appreciate you, bro. I was coming up here to actually say happy birthday to you guys, actually. Saint, too. I didn't even know Saint was on October 7th. So, hey, you find out something.
Play the horn.
He's talking, Sean. You just don't hear him.
Oh, crap. Sorry.
Damn it, Sean. Anyways, yeah, shout out to everyone that's got a birthday on the October 7th. Y'all really don't understand what it means to us that are born on this day, man. Galaxies are even aligned on this day. It's fucking wild. Anyways, man, I just wanted to come up here and say I think we need to see a celebrity boxing match with Draymond and Swaggy P.
Yo, you know what? Yes.
We need to get that out there, man. Swaggy P, Draymond, let's get a match going. We need to see it. Let's get 8 rounds.
I'm gonna get a poll out there in 1 minute. That is dope. Also, shout out the wonderful, beautiful Toni Braxton and her birthday on October 7th.
Yes. Also, I actually did have one question. I wanted you to see if you can maybe just elaborate more on the bench unit on the Wolves and why they're actually formidable.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Wolves played last night, and a lot of talk is centered around what is Gobert and Cat going to look like Anthony Edwards, what's his third year step going to be? Can D'Angelo Russell be the point guard? Quick answer, yes. Long answer, no. And Jaden McDaniels is going to be this. But if you look at their bench, right?
Yeah.
Brian Forbes is a specialist. He's a champion. Kyle Anderson is a specialist, highly competitive, coming out of 2 competitive teams. Naz Reid was a dominant player in college. I'm not really sold on him, but if you look at his production, like I'm sold on him as a player. Don't get me wrong. I mean, in this particular iteration of the T-Wolves, he doesn't fit right because they have now 2 bigs. One of them doing what he does a little bit better. But then they have Austin Rivers, who's going to lose out to Jalen Noel, who started last year, right? And in my mind, personally, I'm moving D'Angelo Russell to the 2 and to the 3, and I'm starting Jalen Noel because I think that's what's going to happen anyway. They pick up PJ Dozier from the Nuggets, and a lot of people don't understand it's about opportunity. And he was on a team, PJ was where he was behind KCP, Jamal, Monty, Bones Highland because he was coming off injury. And I'm big on what PJ might be able to produce if he's developed. And when you look at it, and then they also have Taurean Prince, they have 0 liabilities. Like their biggest liability off the bench is a 5'11 point guard who actually knows how to play. He's just 5'11 and a redundant backup center.
Okay.
Like that's a formidable bench.
Okay. Yeah. No. I get it. Yeah. I can see what you're talking about. I respect it. Would you? If there's one thing that you can take away from, or not take away, like something that you saw from the Lakers that was a positive, what would you say that was the most positive thing about yesterday's game for the Lakers?
When they move the ball, they are going to be hard to stop. I just don't think they're going to be able to score enough points. The system that Darvin Ham is putting in actually fits better some of the players that we kind of think of like after Rams. Like Bryant is going to be a starting center. He's not going to be an all-star. He's going to be productive because the Lakers are going to move the ball and he's going to get those one-on-one matchups against the switch. And that's something that I think bodes well for the motion offense. The other thing is they've got 100% faith in Cole Slider. That dude is going to be it. He is going to take 10 threes. He's going to live and die by those 10 threes. But that kind of well because the Lakers historically shy away from uber specialists. They've been trying to get these blend of NBA players. They needed a specialist. They got him. I'm a big fan of Cole. So there you go. 2 positives.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you. Happy birthday, Saint. Happy birthday, and I appreciate you again.
Yeah, happy birthday to you and to the other birthday guy, Saint. If you're there, you've been having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I was doing the dad thing earlier, and then I made the transition from Jeep to home, and my app was like, no. But yeah, happy birthday to you. Like you already mentioned one great, right? Tony Braxton, but you also have the likes of Desmond Tutu. You have Tom York from Radiohead. So like when things go good for people on October 7th, you get those great people. But I will say though, when things go bad for October 7th babies, you get the likes of Putin and Heimlich Himmler. So you got to be careful, right? The energy and power is there for October 7th birthdays, but man, do we have such a polar opposite of greatness and not greatness on our.
And we also have the ones who are annoying, right? Like Joy Behar is an October 7th baby.
Yes.
Like, bless her.
But you're facts, right? Like a lot can go wrong. When it goes great, it's the greatest, but when it goes bad, it's bad. So shout out to you, man. I don't want to go backwards too much. I wanted to hop in, but JFK said it the best for me when My biggest concern is that coaching staff. I mean, yesterday's game, yes, it is preseason. We've seen the Bucks lose all 4 preseason games and then win the championship. Not saying that's going to happen to the Nets, but just to, preseason does tell you stuff, but it doesn't mean it's the end all be all. I'm more concerned about the coaching staff. That to me is like probably our biggest Achilles heel. I am not fully ready to develop my Ben Simmons slander or like there's no hope, trade him type thing. It's yes, I've got this team needs more time. Like, unfortunately, I hate saying that again, once again, 3 seasons in a row, but that there is truth to that. We are missing TJ Warren, no Seth Curry. Yes, Kyrie was not there. You have no Joe Harris. So like there's aspects where a consistent full run with who's going to actually be playing, yes, this team will look better, but that doesn't change the fact of that there are some concerning aspects about this team. And we're going to have to see. That's why I've been saying from the beginning, I am not fully unloading on these Nets. And what I honestly feel like I'm going to wait. I have to wait a little bit. I need to see more, but I will tell you this from last season when I would bring up a lot of my concerns and I had fellow Nets fans and spaces, particularly Brandon and some other people that just I would bring up concerns about the Nets and I would get, oh, you're a negative Nancy, you're panicking and this, panic in January, panic. I'm like, bro, if you've been watching basketball and you have any idea of a little bit of what's going on, it's not hard to tell when things are not okay and when things need changing or you're going to have some issues going forward. And right now, the Nets are showing some of those signs. All hope is not lost, but we're not going to sit here. This Nets fan is not going to sit here and pretend like it's all going to be okay because there's going to be some growing pains. And I don't know whether it's going to be a new coach or not, or they're going to figure it out, but some shit's going to have to change. But once again, happy birthday to you, my bro. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you, and I wish I could say the inner pessimist in me is telling you you're wrong, but as all pessimists understand, um, you know, they generally are right, right? Like that's
Yeah.
what people don't realize it. Pessimism works. There's a reason why it survived in this society, in human society, I should say.
And I will say, Chris, tell me if I'm wrong by this, but how many times? And I do think it has to do with the fact of being like a Libra and like just being the type of people we are. How many times have you said something way far in advance and people just looked at you all cross-eyed, and then later, months, maybe even a year later, yeah, you were right.
Oh, you want me to give you an example?
Yes, please do.
Absolutely. French fries are overrated and coleslaw is elite.
How did I know? I do have a problem with the lemon pepper slander, though. I'm not saying
if it's true,
but I'm not saying it's the greatest flavor. But like, no, bro, like it's still fire. Like
no, it's not. If it was fire, it would be one of the greatest flavors.
It is one of the greatest flavors. I'm sorry.
You know what? You're lying to yourself now. You got to stop doing that.
I need 5. I need you to name 5 flavors better.
Mango habanero, simple roasted, spicy teriyaki, not that regular teriyaki stuff.
Agent rub that.
Well, I was gonna say I'm gonna mispronounce it, but gaojang or Korean barbecue style, right?
Chili lime.
Say that again, Alan.
Chili lime.
It's way better than lemon pepper. Not in my top 5. The fifth one is just straight black pepper, smoked in black pepper.
All right.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna go to Malika. Malika, good morning. Then we'll go to Malaya after Malika. We got Jose and TJ and EK after that. If you want a mic, lift it up and give us your top 5 wing flavors because lemon pepper ain't one of them. Malika, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. And happy birthday, Chris. Blessed birthday to you. And because it's your birthday, I'm not going to talk about my concern over you enjoying your food, because I am concerned. that you don't enjoy anything you eat. And that is because you're a chef. And sometimes the chefs I know, they're very particular about where they eat or they have to cook their own food. So I don't know. Like, I just see you as one of those people on the extreme level. But I'm going to leave you alone today. And I will bother you about that tomorrow. Um, Saint, you were very hard to me on Ben last night. It's his second game back in over a year. And I did hear Sean, but Sean is a Knicks fan. Okay. But Saint,
Objection.
I need you to understand and remember because Saint and Next Kingdom and them and with Brandon and Jay from BK had a live YouTube last night. And Saint he's being nicer today. He was he was pissed last night and going off about Ben Simmons. I think that if it was like a few more, like say we were on like fifth, sixth game in the season, we're not seeing any change from the preseason. He's still doing the same thing. I can kind of see the criticism at that point because you had preseason, you're 5, 6 games into the regular season. I think he's even going to need more than that, but we should see some improvement by then. But with it being the second game of the season after back surgery and being out for over a year, I think you were a little bit too tough on him. Now, I think Patty Mills deserved the slander because what the hell? Because Patty Mills is not, he has not looked good since mid-season last season. He just hasn't, and they gave him a raise, and I think that's because of Ben. I'm not like we didn't have our full team. We have people injured. I hear you sounding the alarm, Saint, but it's preseason. I don't like.
I'm not down.
I don't like our coaches. I wish we did, do something about our lead coach and our, his top assistant. They got to go. But I just when I heard you guys last night, I said, "Damn, yep, you guys act like we have a 0-10 record in the regular season or 0-20, or we in the Wimbayana sweepstakes like some of the bottom teams that will be tanking, and some of them not on purpose." But I can't go there with y'all yet. We haven't even started the season yet. There's going to be growing pains at the beginning of the season. These guys have to gel, and I'm going to be more patient than I guess some Nets fans because even Gaddafi was like, being hard. I mean, come on, we have. I mean, I'm not going there yet.
All right.
I'll
So,
probably will join you after a little while, but not yet. No, it's
so
too soon. It's too early.
denial is
It's
the
not denial. It's like you have to let things.
very
It's
first.
not denial. I don't see it as denial. I mean, Steve Nash gives me pause because I don't trust anything he does. I mean, shit, Becky Hammond could have got that job, and I hate to use a woman as an example, but my point is she's a hell of a lot more qualified than Steve Nash was.
Yes.
That is my point of mentioning
100%.
her name, and they didn't even want to give her the job. I don't know what happened in San Antonio, but she's with the Las Vegas Aces, and that's a perfect match for her. But my point is, there are many coaches who are more qualified than Steve Nash. They've actually coached. They've actually watched. He is not qualified, and Jackie Vaughn is just not a good coach.
Let me ask you a question.
Like them two is what gives me pause, and I guess if you had them at the helm, yeah, Saint Pessimism may be correct. I'm just not ready to go there yet.
Let me ask you a question
I'm
for you.
not ready.
Would you
Yes,
rather have Steve Nash or Mike D'Antoni?
Mike D'Antoni.
There you go. Then you already know you got a problem.
Yes, at
Because
least
what
Mike.
Mike
Yes, we
D'Antoni,
know his faults. We know what Mike D'Antoni. But one thing Mike D'Antoni is smart enough to do is he'll be better than Steve Nash. He won't be better than Steve Nash. He won't be worse than Steve Nash. He's awful.
all right. Hey,
So,
I
Saint, I'm there with you on Steve Nash, but
Well, no,
I'm
listen. Like I said,
it's too early.
my biggest issue though was effort, right? Like,
Effort, I agree with you on effort, but I think with Simmons, we need to give him at least 5 regular season games. He hasn't even played in the season yet. He's working through stuff.
no, I mean, listen.
Once.
completely.
I get the Philly fans, and they're like, "Oh, you're seeing the same thing," because this is what they're used to seeing. They saw this for 5 years. I'm hoping that we have some improvement. We'll see. I just think that it's too early to count the guys out. Although our coaching staff gives me no confidence. It's a dual thing going on here.
30 seconds, Saint. Go ahead. 30
I'm,
seconds.
I'm not like counting him out, but there are like I get it. I do get all those things. Yes, he's been out for a while, but then when I agree with you on the Steve Nash, it's like you see other teams, and then all of a sudden you get our guys out there, and it's like the whole game that coaching staff just sat there, and it's like, what are you guys working on in practice? My only thing with
he just claps. Like, what the hell is he doing? Like,
yeah,
like what is he doing?
Hey, clapping is hard work.
Yeah, well.
Complex muscle movement and coordination, man.
I'm not completely out on Ben Simmons, but I do believe, yes, I get all those things you said, but I'm not like one of these. It's like, dude, if you're not like multiple times, he could have gone through.
He could have,
and he just chose not to. So that is a bit concerning. At some point, I get it, but at the same time, at some point, like you can't constantly have an excuse for Ben Simmons' behavior. That's all I'm saying.
It's the second game, though. That's all I'm saying.
This is not the second game. This is a year.
No,
when
it's
someone
not,
shows
Sean.
you who
He was out a whole year. And you're a Knicks fan. Go over there and worry about the Knicks.
When someone shows
but with
you,
Ben,
listen, I'm
it's been, it's the second game back after over a year.
First of all,
anger is the second stage.
Nah, it's just that I love Knicks fans and how they care about our team.
This has nothing to do with the
less
Knicks. This has nothing to do with the Knicks. Why did you bring them up?
Because that's your team.
But then we're talking about the Nets, and I'm saying I think the Nets are going to be the 1 seed. So clearly, me being a Knicks fan has nothing to do with it. I'm just saying, Ben Simmons has showed you who he is. Why are you surprised?
All right, I want to.
Someone shows you who they are, believe them.
I want to give some.
It's only the second game. People can change. He's young.
Mookie Betts, born on October 7th. Shout out Mookie Betts. Also born on October 7th, John Mellencamp. If anybody who's
happy birthday, Saint. I didn't say happy birthday, Saint. And anybody whose birthday is today, happy birthday. Happy birthday to all. Happy birthday to all.
Yep. Yo-Yo Ma, one of the greatest cellists who ever lived, October 7th.
Vladimir Putin, October 7th.
Well, we see, like, we were there.
What? Are you serious, Sean?
Yes, so is Himmler, Heimlich Himmler. There's also a serial killer that was born on the 7th.
Like when it goes back, it's just the truth.
It's bad. Like, what can we do?
Look, I share birthdays with Saddam Hussein, so I understand.
Let me give some shout outs down below. Some more people have popped in. Shout out TJ Kiesel, hosted the Kickback Fridays. Check it out. If you are a sneakerhead, you need to actually just follow her now. She is deep into that world. If you also need some help in adulting, because adulting sucks and can be hard, she does a very good job. She does a series where she has done budgeting, she's done accountability, responsibility, how to motivate yourself. Huge fan. Go shoot her a follow. Bella B's also in the building. Great follow here on Twitter. Jay the Wakanda tech support, and Connor the Batman burner. Two dudes who I enjoy going back and forth with. Jay with some absurdity, and Connor with his diehard love for a man who's not a superhero. He's just a dude with a lot of money who plays contact tag with his friends. Malaya, good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. Can you hear me, Chris?
I can hear you.
Okay, I got a couple points. So happy birthday, Chris. Happy birthday, Saint. I'm not about to sing because I got a little throat, soreness. Anyways. And then also Malika and Danny, I do agree. Chris does have a problem with certain things like food and music, but I will cook him one day and will explain why I think he got those problems. But it won't be today because it's his birthday. He gonna end up like James Harden and throwing the birthday cake out of the boat. You remember when Harden's birthday was? He gonna end up watch. You're gonna saw a video. His son gonna record it, and then he throw the cake out the dang yacht. In the afternoon, gonna be funny. But anyways, and also Malika, Those Knicks fans, they more likely, if they hating on you, they wishing for your Nets downfall, girl. They wishing for your Nets downfall. That's why they hating, because they wishing for your Nets
I
downfall.
will
That's probably
say
why
that
they
Sean
coming
is a
in and
good
hating.
Knicks. He's a
No
cool Knicks
disrespect,
fan.
Sean.
Yeah, Sean is a cool Knicks fan. That he's one of the
Yeah,
nice ones.
no, I mean no disrespect, Sean. Okay, just letting you know. But now I gotta cook. I gotta let my energy go because I gotta go talk to my friend Sierra in a minute. Okay. One, Draymond is stupid. And whoever wants to say that's a sucker punch, they ain't no sucker punch. That's like a UFC TKO. TKO. Doom, doom. Okay, that's like you getting knocked out by Conor McGregor up in here. Does nobody don't say nothing on sucker punch? Jordan Poole got knocked the hell out. You just got knocked the heck out. Y'all seen Friday? Yeah, did y'all see Friday? And it came up. You just got knocked the heck out. Okay, Jordan got knocked out. No way. He's talking about some sucker punch. Look, Jordan Poole was dead for 5 seconds, was out cold, knocked out. Get the ref, throw the towel in. He out cold. You need to pray for him. He gone. Just talking about some sucker punch. Sucker punch, you still standing. Jordan Poole got the soul knocked out of his face. Talking about some sucker punch. Anyway, if somebody hit me up like that, I'm getting up. I'm doing Khabib Nurmagomedov over there, Mike Tyson on that behind. I ain't, nobody about to knock me out cold. And it's all over TMZ and everything. And I'm looking like a meme, looking like you got knocked out by Jake Paul and having your butt cheek in the air and everything on Instagram and having your butt showing on Instagram. Nobody about to clown me that bad. I'm getting up and knocking this living boo-boo out of this joker. Draymond disrespect just knocked the wind out. Now it's gonna be compared to Jake Paul's knockouts and everything. Praying for Jordan Poole. We're gonna pray for Jordan Poole because his soul got knocked out on him. It's disrespectful. We need to put him in protocol or something, because I'm praying for Jordan Poole, because dang that dog talking about some sucker punch. You still standing. You still standing. Poole got the soul knocked out on him. It's UFC 275 or whatever. Shoot, he looked like Jose Aldo after Conor McGregor knocked the socket out of him. Talking about, oh, it's a sucker punch. He dead. He almost dead. Dang near. Check the post. Check the post. He gone. Cold. Knocked out cold.
All right,
y'all talking about some sucker punch. He gone.
Who wins?
All right. But okay.
Sweat.
Okay. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm sorry I went too long. But shoot, he got knocked the soul out.
You still going. Who wins?
But I'm about to go. But thank you, Chris, for allowing me up. Hi, Malika. Hi, Danny. Hi, Jose. Hi, TJ. And everybody up in here that, I'm cool with. I love y'all, But anyways, though, we're going to pray for Jordan Poole because nobody should get knocked the heck out like that, though.
All right.
Nobody should get knocked the heck out like that. And it's on video now. And everybody going to see it. And everybody going to compare it to Jake Paul knockout and everything. But I'm sorry. I'm about to go. I love y'all. Chris, you can say what you need to say before I go.
Have a good day. Have a great weekend. Drink some water.
Okay.
Water's important.
Yes, I'm going to drink some water. And Chris, you have a blessed day. Listen to your Precious Prince and your Stevie Wonder. I know you got them in the background right now. They singing happy birthday. You listen to Stevie Wonder. Happy birthday to you. But yeah. So love y'all. Peace. And good day.
Woo! All right. Appreciate it, Malaya. You have a great weekend. Wow. Nicole Ari Parker, ladies and gentlemen. October 7th. Yep. It's a great day. All right. Reset. Halfway through. We've got some more basketball to talk about. That is not the Nets because, let's be honest, it's depressing. We've got TJ, EK, Danny, and Jose up here and ready to go. We will go to TJ first, and we'll go to Danny, Jose, and EK. Thank you, everybody. Good morning.
Chris, I have to balance out your goodness with a negative. We also have Simon Cowell.
You know what? I don't view that as a negative. I kind of view that as like flavorless gravy.
Oliver North. Oh.
Flavorless gravy.
Oh. how do you go from those to Oliver North and Simon Cowell? Like it, yeah. All right,
Well,
I'll shut up now.
yeah. Just to let you know, at one point Oliver North wasn't crazy, but I'll also shout out another controversial figure just to prove Saint's point right, that it can go either way. Elijah Muhammad. Yeah.
Wow.
October 7th. All right, TJ's back with us. TJ, go ahead.
Man, I was like, no, I was waiting forever. Okay, I'm sorry. First off, happy birthday, Chris, Saint, and Alan. Continued blessings to you and your family. Chris, you gotta shoot me a DM so I can send you some candy corn. I wanted to talk about.
Nah, like, why would you do that?
Because candy corn is great. It's October. That's like the candy of the month.
Not great,
man.
It's like
okay, sure.
Opposite of great. It's an antonym. It's an antonym candy.
It's the greatest candy ever.
I'm concerned, Chris.
Okay, then answer this. What does it taste like?
Like butter.
Did you just hear yourself? You are eating sugary butter.
That's delicious. That's the best thing ever. Just invigorates the soul. I was really wanting to come up here because some points that Bad Guy had met, and he ain't even in the room. Don't talk about Dub Nation like that. I'm gonna agree with what Sean said. There was no longer a sucker punch when you put hands on someone first. My mama told me knock their ass out, and Draymond Green came with one of the straightest jabs ever in less than 0.5 seconds to knock out young JP. We need to come together as a Dub Nation community and just pick him up off the floor and say, don't talk bad stuff to the OG like that. It's all in-house. We ain't got no problems with that. I also wanted to say, this is my overreaction take for preseason. The Charlotte Hornets will be the #1 team to get Victor Wembanyama, and then the greatest basketball player that ever played will mess it up, and he will not be that guy. Anyway, that's all I got. At the end of the day, shout out to you, Danny. Appreciate all y'all for your time. I got to go hit the road. I'll see y'all.
All right. You have a good weekend. And you know what? Look out for Jordan Poole's soul while you out there, apparently, because according to Malaya, it's somewhere out there floating in the ether. All right. Danny D, good morning. Thank you for popping in. How are you?
I'm well. It's a good morning. I got a job, so I don't start till the 17th. So I may not be on Hoop Spaces like I normally am. Start on the 17th, but anyway, happy birthday, Chris. If I had known this earlier, I would have prepared properly for you. I'll DM you the video of me on the pole. Just play. They gonna do that to you. My husband will kill me. Anyway. Happy birthday, my friend. Anybody else celebrating a birthday today? Would that make you a Libra too?
That would make me a Libra, although full disclosure, horoscopes are garbage. They are not real. They are fake. Do not believe them. There's your public service announcement.
Actually, Chris, we're gonna have to work on you. Lord bless this man. Help him stop being such a negative Nancy. Anyway, my mama is a Libra. She's on the 19th, her and my sister. So yeah, y'all need balance in your life, and that could explain a lot. You're not drinking enough Metamucil. You're not balanced. You're still loaded with ish. So we need to get that out. You get your soul cleaned out so you could properly have great food takes. I'll send you that McDonald's gift card so you can be lavish in the golden fries of love with ketchup and salt. Anyway, candy corn tastes like it does taste like butter, a little orange flavoring to me. Because I used to eat candy corn too, me and my granddaddy. God bless the dead. Anyway, Draymond's punch was a sucker punch. Yes, Jordan Poole touched him, but didn't Draymond decide to do chest on chest bumping? So Poole had a right to push him out his space. You don't know Draymond's breath was bad. So come on, let me huffing and breathing my face after we practice. I'm trying to practice. And it's a sucker punch because Jordan was in his safe place, the court, the basketball court, his home, his muse, his love, his girlfriend, his wife, his family. He did not expect that dude from Saginaw. No, Saginaw people are Mitches. You know, they ain't from Detroit. They're way up there and a little bit in the middle. So that was a Mitch move from somebody from the Sag. They depress people. They need help. But that was a sucker punch. I don't care what nobody said. That was a sucker punch. He should have done it because as his elder, you are supposed to lead by example, not go down to the level where the crabs are at. He's supposed to be a leader on this team. Look, I was trying to keep him on the team. 2 seconds from shipping him down there with LeBron so he can be on his knees for him at this point. Him and that nasty tequila they got. I've never tasted it, but anything LeBron touches is nasty. Anyway, yes, I'm a LeBron hater. I was born that. Okay, I was birthed in that, in the darkness of LeBron hating. Um, LA sucks. It's gonna be a struggle for y'all. Nets fans, God bless you. Um, the Lord's gonna work it out for y'all, as that great song says. And all is well in this world. Aces are still champs. This is Asia Wilson supremacy. I never seen nobody have a great season like she had. And now we're back to the Gamecocks with Dawn Staley and what they're doing down there in Columbia. Oh, just makes my husband sick when I mention basketball. Anyway, I think that's all I got, Chris, for right now. But a happy birthday. I was gonna sing for you, but anyway, I've gone too long, too long. There you go.
It's okay. Look, you can go ahead and sing in your head. I was already serenaded by a 9-year-old boy who's got the pitch and key of a '67 Chevy Axle that hadn't been oiled in 30 years.
Well, we can go. Oh, hey, shorty, it's your birthday. We're gonna party like it's your birthday. We're gonna sip Bacardi like it's your birthday. Uh, uh. Come on, Chris, shake that booty. Hey, hey, hey. Come on.
All right. I think she really wants to get on that pole. That's starting to concern me. That's what that
That's
y'all
my dream. That's my
that.
activity. When I get older and retire, I'm gonna get out there do the grandmas. Go to the local nursing home. They're like, hey, hey, daddy, give me social security check.
You
Hey.
know, I literally have Keenan Ivory Wayans like the picture, and I'm gonna get you, sucker. It's there, and it's in my brain, and I cannot unsee it. All right, up next we've got EK, we've got Bonkai, the show killer, making the stop through, so we can talk Knicks. They play tonight. Malika's still here. If you want to come on up, now's the time. We got plenty of space. Raise your hand. Come on up. Talk some hoops, and I will answer as many questions as I can. Coming up, rapid fire. Yesterday, I put out a couple of more previews on the Eastern Conference. I'm going to get the rest of them up over at hoopspaces.com. The real short and succinct is just to give you off-season recap and a generalized idea of what they're looking at going into where they're going to be able to compete. It also gives you where I think what I think their record is going to be as well. So look forward to that. Also, we've got our first guest booked, our first official guest booked for the show. We'll give you more on that on Monday. Up next, though, we're going to go to EK first, and then Bonkai. Good morning, EK. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Chris. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, yeah. But I have to warn you, like, people now understand what your profile picture is. They know who you are. Did you buy a 9-volt battery?
No, some things came up, so not yet.
All
But
right, got it. We got
that's
to
on the
get.
list.
We just heard it. It's all good. What you got, EK? Good morning.
Yeah, yeah. Good morning and happy birthday to you, Chris.
Thank you.
By the way, Charles Woodson, also on October 7th, birthday.
Yes, he
One
is.
of the best defensive backs to ever play.
Hall of Famer.
So yeah, definitely Hall of Famer. I wanted to talk about. I think it was TJ who said that the Charlotte Hornets are going to get Victor Wembanyama. I don't necessarily agree with that. I feel like the Spurs are primed to win 15 games this year and get Victor Wembanyama. It would be the perfect gift for Greg Popovich as he's on his way out. I personally think they're going to pull that off. When you have Doug McDermott as the cover photo for San Antonio Spurs highlights on YouTube, you are primed to win 15 to 20 games. So there's that. But also, I saw from the Lakers the last two games, their ball movement is so much more improved under Darvin Ham. I mean, you got a lot of guys who have the ability to cut off the ball, which they didn't have last year. They had a lot of guys who, were catch and shoot guys, guys who didn't really know how to move properly off the ball. Now you got a bunch of young guys, young wings who can move off the ball pretty well. So although they're 0-3 in the preseason, like I said, their ball movement and just their energy, I think is something that the Lakers fans should really hold on to. With Brooklyn, my sister Malika, she said it perfectly. Steve Nash, to me, is probably top five worst coaches in the NBA. He is horrible, and I think he should be gone sooner rather than later. I was hoping for the Brooklyn Nets franchise that they would have gotten rid of him during the offseason before Kevin Durant decided to come back and rescind his trade request. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. Even though that's the case, I still have the Brooklyn Nets being very, very good, just because they're trying to build camaraderie, they're trying to build consistency with each other, and like Malika said, then this is the second game in over a year after back surgery, so I wouldn't necessarily be too hard on the play calling and the effort. Now, if we get into the season, 10, 15 games in, and the same thing is going on, expect all the slander to be thrown, and rightfully so. But yeah, that's all I got. I'm also looking forward to seeing how Minnesota continues to progress. I love their young bench. They got a lot of guys who can play. So yeah, that's all I got, Chris. And happy birthday to you again.
Appreciate it, man. Always happy for the birthday wishes. Saint, I've got another one. This one you may not know. This is a really good one, Saint. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. If this person wasn't born on October 7th, Alan, we do not have Albert Einstein.
Ooh.
His name is Niels Henrik David Bohr. He was a Danish physicist who made foundational contributions to the beginning of understanding of the atomic structure and quantum theory. More importantly, he also won the Nobel Peace Prize in physics. But more importantly, he was a line of escape for Jewish scientists. That is what is now the Niels Bohr Institute of Physics. It was something else back in the University of Copenhagen. He helped people escape Nazi Germany, right? And was one of Albert Einstein's chief inspirations to become a physicist.
See, that's dope, because as I'm scrolling looking at famous people, I'm actually seeing this battle between October 7th babies. Like, actually surprised at the amount of people fighting, like a lot of Jewish history people fighting people born on the 7th in Nazi. Like, it's kind of weird. I don't know how to say it's kind of eerie that you have a significant birthday where you have literal people on opposite sides of that situation battling one another. So I'm glad to hear about that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like I always do this. It's one of the things that I do on my birthday, just to see what life is like for other people. And speaking of life is like for other people, this is a team that apparently seems to be on a completely different trajectory than the Brooklyn Nets, and that's the New York Knicks, who look good because they actually have a starting point guard who's a point guard, and it allows the other players to play in their place. And Bankai, I know, is thrilled about the upcoming prospects of this season, and he's here to tell you, y'all are sleeping on his New York Knicks. Bankai, good morning.
Good morning, Chris. I actually wasn't even going to talk about the Knicks. Surprising.
Oh my gosh, you can't waste the see, that was me doing literally like a no look between the legs, and like you just had to lay it up.
Well, I can't say much after one preseason game. I mean, I was happy with the performance, and watching Brunson in person is even more. How would I say? Like, you get to see more. Like, he's really tough. Like, he's really tough for his size and extremely crafty. Right? You get to see more. But again, it was a preseason game. First game. We have another game tonight, and ultimately, you can't really draw too much conclusions. I mean, what happened last season, last preseason. Julius Randle had a game winner on the Wizards, and how did the season turn out? It didn't turn out so good. So you can't. I'm excited we won, but there's a lot more to be seen, obviously. But I was gonna say happy birthday, Chris, and congrats on the Slam Goods partnership. You deserve it, of course. Have some French fries today. And another thing is, I personally don't think Draymond Green sucker punch Jordan Poole, just because of the fact that Jordan Poole put his hands on him first. Yes, Draymond got in his face, but
Talk about it.
Jordan Poole shoved him. And I grew up the way that as soon as somebody puts their hands on you, it doesn't matter if it's a shove or anything, they put their hands on you. You gotta you do something. I mean, and the same way it goes in reverse, right? If I put my hands on somebody, if I shove somebody, I'm not keeping my hands down. I'm keeping my hands up because I don't know how that person is gonna react. They're kind of entitled to like defend themselves, hit me or something. So you got to keep their hands up. I don't care if it's a teammate, if it's a friend. Everybody's human, right? Everybody reacts differently to these type of things. And Jordan Poole's been around Draymond for a bit now, so he kind of knows what type of person Draymond is. He kind of knows his attitude. He's kind of a volatile type of guy. So in my mind, you got to know, like, hey, if I shove this guy, if I push him, I've seen his track history. I kind of know him. Like, he's gonna throw something. He's gonna throw a swing at me. I don't know. Like I said, he should have. I don't know what was said between the both of them, but he shouldn't have pushed them. And if he did, he should have just kept his hands up and expecting a reaction. To be honest.
Yeah, I think the issue is there was posturing, and then there was physical posturing. The physical posturing then led to the physical reaction and confrontation, right? So the chest to chest, that's the physical, posturing, and that elicited the reaction from Jordan Poole, which elicited the reaction from Draymond Green. I think when more of the story comes out, we're going to hear that people just got tired of Jordan Poole.
That's true, correct. And to be honest, and obviously I wasn't there. There's no audio in the video, so we don't know exactly what was said. But there's only two things that I could think personally, that I could think that would get a dude so upset. And because I've seen it happen, right? Playing basketball outside, especially in New York, you see it, right? It's either you talked about somebody's family, which people do not have a high tolerance for that. Like that, I find that extremely disrespectful. I don't know if he said that. And the other word, which is the magic word, is SMD, right? You can't really tell dudes SMD and not expect something to happen. So those are just my guesses on what Poole might have said to him that might have made Draymond react that way. I mean, I've seen it happen plenty of times, right? I've seen guys say that to other guys that they lose it. So I don't know. Just guessing.
Yeah, no, I look. We all know Draymond is going to say what he thinks. He's going to act the way he's going to act because he's somebody who is base response is emotional, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's about 68% of us whose baseline reaction is based out of emotion. Like that's how we're hardwired. It's natural instinct. I also, like I said, there's no drama. Like everybody knows who was wrong. The dude who was wrong admitted it. Like there might be some fallout that they have to work through, just like any other working relationship that works in a close knit group dynamics. I can speak personally. I got into 3 fights with people I served with on a team of 16. One of them I threw through a dresser. Like it can get heated. Like if you are next to each other day in and day out, even with the small break that they have where they go home to their families, like they carry their work home with them just like we do. And you know what? It gets chippy at practice, especially heading into like preseason. The practices start amping up and ramping up. And what a lot of people don't really want to say is you got people playing for spots on these teams, and like they're playing 110%. And then you got people who think that they're in a position That's higher, but they might only be going 90, and that causes issues, right? Like, just think about a pickup game when you think you're playing one way and the other dude is letting you know he's playing a different way. We'll go to Malika next. We got Tony, Mr. Anthony, changing his name to Jalen Hightower, ladies and gentlemen, and the House of Eagles as the Eagles fly and soar in the NFC East. We'll get to him after Malika. Malika, good morning. How you doing?
Hey, good morning. I wanted to say one thing, a few things. Number one, um, I do like the youngins on the Knicks, Sean and Bank Guy. I do like the Jalen Brunson, so I'll be watching some Knicks games. I do like what you guys are building there, so I'll check out some games. Wembayama is interesting. Like looking at him play, I mean, you have media salivating over Wembayama. Are they going to be playing some Eurobasket? Are they going to be showing some basket games this year? We'll see. But I just want to see how shameless, Danny Ainge and how fast Shy is going to get traded, or if he's going to get set down, you know what I mean, or something. Or I'm just curious because, like TJ said, the Hornets to be in the top will be the top person. No, they won't, because they'll beat some of these teams that are tanking. They won't be down that far, but they're going to keep their draft pick. So get a mediocre. Maybe not, because I heard the next draft is pretty good, so they may get a good person. But it's going to be it's going to be one of three: San Antonio, Utah Jazz, or the Oklahoma City Thunder. One of the three. And it's going to be interesting watching to see which one of them gets that top pick. But Wembayama and School Henderson is also. I mean, the twins, the Thompson twins. It's so early, and I'm seeing these draft boards, and I'm like, it's too early for these. It's way too early. But I just wanted to say it's been fun watching some of these G League games, and watching him play with, like at his height and what he's able to do. It's really amazing to watch. So I just wanted to say that, and hopefully, ESPN keeps salivating and play some Eurobasket games so we can see more of him when he goes back across to Europe.
Shoot, I'm salivating. I'm salivating.
Me too. I'm just mean in terms of them showing more of his games over, what I mean, because he plays overseas. So
the first time I saw a 6'9" dude play basketball, I was like, damn, right? Like in person, like a real live professional athlete playing basketball at 6'9". You look up because let's face it, we look up and we're like, damn, this dude's 7'4" and still growing. He stood
crazy.
Next
it's crazy.
And he made Rudy Gobert look like a freshman.
But do you think that? I mean, he's not. I mean, Chet Holmgren was very thin, and his game is a little different. But what's the difference between him and Chet Holmgren in terms of people look at Chet Holmgren and think he is just going to be an injury factory, right? He's going to get injured a lot, and him being injured like in that pickup game or whatever you want to call it. Jay's crossover is a sign of what his career is going to be like. I hope not. Like, why won't Wembayama have the same fate?
They have a different skeletal structure. It would be hard to explain, but simply simply say where the muscles align with the bones provide more structure and stability and support apparently for Victor than they do for Chet at this time. That's all. That's all I can see. They move a little bit different. Victor looks a little bit more
fluid. They do move different. I did notice that they do move.
So, my and I said this when Chet's coming out. Like my thing with Chet was he would need core work and leg work to bulk up first. He's not going to be able to bulk up that upper body. He's going to be like Alexei Pukashevsky. So let's get that core. Let's get the legs done so you eliminate, tertiary injuries such as calf strains and rolled ankles. Give yourself a better base of support. And they also play differently. So Victor growing up and playing over there, if you watch some of the games, these players they're not playing in space where he can land on their feet. They're not really bodying him up. They are understanding he's a generational talent for all of European basketball. So there's some hesitation. Now, occasionally there's some dudes who don't care and they just get up in his face. But for the most part, he hasn't played in the same type of atmosphere where Chet had, where some of Chet's injuries came from landing on somebody's foot. So if you just get two simple ankle rolls and people want to overblow it, which is essentially happening to Chet, and then you have an actual medium to major injury, it gets overblown. And then also it's Chet's white. Like there's a little bit of colorism here. Like it's unfortunate. They view him as unathletic even though he is actually athletic. That type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I had. I just wanted to, mention him as I know you're closing out soon. In my next, I have some stuff coming up, but I'll talk about that next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We'll go on for probably about another half hour or so. I'm a huge Chet fan, and I think a lot of people are going to eat their words. I think he's going to end up being
I
healthy.
agree, and I think when they get those twins, when they get Victor too, they're going to be something else in a few years. Because I just don't think he has any shame or Danny Ainge. I'm sorry, like them two are going to be going 1-for-1 on this tank job.
I look. I think you guys are going about it this backwards. I put this out on a tweet, and I'll say this now to the delight of all the Golden State Warriors fans. I can see Victor Wembanyama in a Warriors jersey. I want to go to Tony. What? Oh yeah, I could see it happening. But okay, let me ask you a question. Right, you're the Utah Jazz. You get the first pick, and then all of a sudden, Golden State says, "Hey, we'll give you Jordan Poole, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and 2 future first-round draft picks." You turning that down?
They can't do that.
Angels.
Yeah, they can't do that.
Oh, see, Tony, you brought it up perfectly. So it's going to go to you. Are you saying the Warriors can't do that, or the Jazz can't turn that down?
No, the Jazz can't turn that down simply because where they play basketball. The idea of passing on Victor, any of the top 3 teams, none of them can pass on Victor. Just they need the money. They need the guy to bring in people to sell tickets, and Jordan Poole ain't going to sell you no tickets in Utah.
Well, he's not gonna sell you tickets in Utah, but that's a haul. That's 3 bona fide starters and 2 future picks.
What haul?
A 5-for-1 deal.
Offer? Like, let's say OKC doesn't get the first pick, right? What haul can you offer that OKC isn't just gonna go, okay, well, here's like 6 first-round picks. Let me just get that one. Them, Indiana.
Well, that's
Go ahead.
Oh, dude, take Indiana out of there. Yeah, take Indiana out. They're not going to get it. Oh, now you're. Come back, Tony. Tony, you there? Or am I breaking up? Was that Tony breaking up or me breaking up, guys?
That's Tony breaking up.
Tony.
Evan Townsend. Can we? Yeah, I'm kidding. I was just about to. Thank you.
Tony, if you can hear us, come back in because you were breaking up and we can't get your thought. Let Evan go, then we'll bring it. Go up to Bankai, then we'll go to EK. Evan, what's up, man? Talk about Victor and how I'm crazy that the Warriors could end up with him.
You're a little crazy.
All right,
but it's your birthday, so you get a pass. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I think it was interesting to see Adam Silver have a couple statements about Victor, pretty much saying like, hey, like it's going to be an all-out tank job. We know it's going to happen. We know what's going to be, what the season's going to like, pretty much like project. But I wouldn't be surprised if a team with like a 1.2% chance lands lands Victor, and that would be really interesting to see. Obviously, that wouldn't be the Spurs. We have to win like 40 games, 35 games, something like that. But that's another story for another day. I do think my gut is telling me I know I shouldn't say this, but Charlotte does seem like a good, interesting pick for Victor, just because if you had LaMelo, you can not only have the factor like of course MJ's of course running the team, but I think that would be a really interesting tandem. Just because obviously LaMelo probably is going to be on the way out, that would keep him in. We see how it works. Sell some tickets, see what's up. But that's just what my gut is telling me. Obviously, okay, season the mix, Indiana, Houston. Malika was saying you're going to trade Shea. Honestly, OKC is doing a really good job of really just keeping him happy, playing 50 games, have an injury, sit him out, just sit next to coach and just monitor. And then literally when Chet comes back, he'll have some injuries to worry about in his career. We'll talk about that in a second. But if you had Victor in the mix, man, you're cooking with some grease. But there's a couple things I want to talk about when it comes to Chet and Victor in the comparison. Chet is like when you punch his gut, if you were to punch his gut, that should have. He has a butt gut. It's soft. He has no muscle in his upper body. He has no upper body build. He has no. He's just soft. He's literally just soft. Obviously, the court in Seattle, the condensation with all the people like gathered in and made the court a little bit slippery. You saw Marjon Beauchamp slip 4 times. LeBron slipped once. Everyone was like, "Ooh," and they had to shut down the game for good reason. So Chet was the odd man out. He did get hurt. It sucks, but that was an injury that could have happened to anyone. Honestly, if you're trying that hard, the court is that slippery. Shoes aren't tied all the way. You got a busted ankle. So. The thing with Victor, he is a little bit more strong. He is a little bit more toned. They are protecting that man at all costs, in any shape or way or form. If he is hurt, he will not play for the next 2 weeks. If he has a finger split, he will not play for 5 days. He will have multiple games where he has 30 points, 40 points, 15 rebounds, 5 blocks. And then the next game, he'll be in foul trouble and he'll have 5 points, 6 blocks, this and that. And it'll turn a lot of people around the wrong way, but this past week of these scrimmages, that should pretty much solidify that he's the top talent in this draft. I know Scoot is really good. He's pretty much solidified himself as a top 2 pick. But with Victor, if he can stay healthy, they're not going to shut him down. His agent literally confirmed they're not going to shut him down the rest of the season. They're going to play him. They play every 5-6 days, and he may take a game off every now and then, but they play in a less competitive league. He only plays 23, 24 minutes. So you will see Victor's name probably called first overall in 8-9 months. So that's that. When it comes down to it, there's a lot of other top recruits in this class. I'm not going to go too in depth on this, but I want you to
I
imagine.
like the Thompson twins. We got to schedule a time to talk about. Yeah,
Definitely.
I like
Yeah,
the Thompson.
we got
the way to
kid
remember that to differentiate the two. Amin is the point guard, and how I say it is, Amin, he can do it all. He's a point guard, shooting guard. I want you to imagine, like, you see all these high school kids with these crazy flare passes. He has every single type of flare pass, every like a mellow zip pass. All that is there. The playmaking is incredible. And obviously his brother's the wing version of him. Asar, you can remember that with a little bit of sauce. He has a sauce to his game. They both have the same type of archetype. One's a point guard, one's a wing. They may seem like the safe pick in 4 to 5 range, but I say this now, do not be surprised if they fall out maybe in the 9 to 10 range solely because they have not played against NBA or college competition. And the reason why that's a concern, you look at Leonard Miller, you look at a lot of these guys in the G League, they look like middle schoolers playing against high school varsity. They're not scared. They're not intimidated by the moment, but it's about the speed. It's about being able to adjust, defensive reads. And OTE, I have a couple of friends out in Atlanta. They tell me, hey, they got everything down packed over there. They have the right trainers, the right everything, right for them. But don't be surprised at just like the surprise picks, the Cam Whitmores, Anthony Black, Nick Smith, these guys in the SEC, Cavante George. I'm telling you, this next class, Paolo Banchero will probably be outside the top 10. I saw him live last night in Orlando. The small forward Paolo Banchero is not a thing. A couple dunks, cool. A couple putbacks, cool. Nothing's there. I guarantee he'll be out the top 10 if he was a year younger in this upcoming class for sure.
I've been trying to tell people there's a dude who was drafted by the Sacramento Kings. I'm just saying.
I'm talking too much, but Keegan Murray is a solid tweener forward. You'll have some Danny Granger moments in Indiana. He's a movement shooter that just needs to be set up. He can't dribble to save his life unless he needs to. And if when he needs to, he's gonna get pickpocketed by anyone. So that's why he's looking so good, quote unquote, so good in Sacramento, because they need a movement shooter like that. But remember, the other movement shooter that can dribble to save his life is Tobias Harris. So that's your tweener between him and his career. That's my prediction. A little bit of Danny Granger some days, a little bit of the worst of Tobias Harris some days. Just let you know.
All right. I feel you. But don't forget, Tobias Harris got a max contract, averaging 20 and double digits rebounding and 3 assists. Deal.
Oh yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Good point.
Keegan Murray. Boy, I tell you, if he gets Rookie of the Year, I am gonna be insufferable. I already am.
You know my prediction for that, and I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna get off stage. It is the one man. You know who it is. You know who it is, Chris. You know who it is.
Ponchero?
No, it's Jabari Smith Jr., man. Let me tell you, I will have a space just to talk about Jabari Smith Jr., even though I work for the Spurs. This guy is going to have years and years and years lighting it up just because Jalen Green, paint touch, kick out, 35 feet, Jabari Smith. It's 4 or 5 threes a game and a half, easy. The kid's shooting form is up there in the top 15, 20 already. Quick release. I'm telling you.
Jabari Smith is what Joe Smith was supposed to be. Jabari Smith is what
no comment.
I just forgot the name too. Tim Thomas used to be what was supposed to be. That he's good.
Tim Thomas?
Remember Tim Thomas?
I remember Tim Thomas, but
remember Tim Thomas? Tell me I'm wrong.
I don't know. I may be too young for that. I'm 26, but that's a little bit before my time. I don't know.
Saint remembers Tim Thomas. For sure, he's got to remember Tim Thomas.
I remember Tim Thomas. He used to be a Knick.
Yeah. I do remember.
Tim Thomas was supposed to be Kevin Durant before Kevin Durant existed, people, if you're wondering. That's how good he was when he was young. And then he got to the NBA and realized everybody's as big and as fast as he is. Because that's what the NBA does.
Well, one last thing, Chris, I wanted to comment about the Draymond and Jordan Poole stuff.
Yeah.
It was just honestly a common question. Is Jordan Poole the only player on the Warriors that Draymond would do this to? I feel like a couple of the first-year, second-year players he wouldn't do this to. Everyone else he has a higher respect for. I honestly think Jordan Poole was literally saying to himself, murmuring to himself, he ain't gonna hit me. He ain't gonna do nothing. It's Draymond. And then Draymond's like, what? Huh? Boom. I'm just saying, I don't know.
Yes, he would.
Because I saw those tweets. If he hit Steph Curry, he would be in Abu Dhabi under a new name. What was it? Draymond Verde?
Well, Steph is one thing, right? Steph is one thing. Would he do it to another teammate? I believe he would. I do. I believe he would. Nothing in Draymond's actions in his entirety of his career tells me otherwise. And to be honest, I don't the action was wrong because it was wrong, but I totally understand it. I'm not knocking him for it either. Like I said, my personal experience, I put a dude through a dresser in the military because he was what we call a Blue Falcon. He was acting up. He wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. We confronted him, and he got aggressive, and, it was handled. Kind of happens sometimes in these, again, close quarters, high-stress environment that is thriving on competition creates conflict, right? The idea is we have leadership who's able to see it forthright in advance so that it's either mitigated or you have a culture in place where accountability can be had, right? Grievances can be aired, and as a group, you can constructively figure out what's wrong, address it, and move on. And that's what Golden State's doing. That's why we really haven't harped on it. Bonkai, your hand was up. You got something, we'll go to you. We got EK down below, we'll go to him. And Tony has returned. So once these two are done, we'll make sure that has plenty of time to get his says in because the dude is smart. All right, Bankai go, EK go, and then we'll hit up Tony. We'll close out with Saint and Malika.
Yeah, Jordan Poole does seem kind of like a wild type of dude. Like we've seen the videos on Twitter of like his reactions on the court and on the bench and stuff. So I don't know. He kind of seems like the type of guy that wouldn't hold back what he says. So again, I don't know what he said exactly, but I think he might have said something wild, like I don't know, something like crazy. But my question to you on the whole Wembayama stuff and talking about draft prospects, I don't know if you saw this quote the other day, but I think Adam Silver brought up the fact that he wants teams playing hard. Like he knows there's a lot of teams that want him, like want Wembayama, but he still wants teams playing hard regardless and all that stuff. You know, talking about the whole tank talk. Do you think he'll end up becoming like maybe the first commissioner to try to instill some type of, I don't know, anti-tanking rule like in a couple years or something like that? Or like I know maybe
He already tried.
but
Back
but
in
you think he'll
2018.
right like that whole like okay the worst team doesn't get the first pick by default or the odds or something.
Well, no,
But you think
he sent a letter. Like he sat down and wrote a letter out to all 30 teams, right? And said, like over the past decade, 5 years, 7 years, tanking has become a regular occurrence, right? Happening more frequently. It's in the media. The fans are talking about it. We have declining ticket sales, et cetera, et cetera. He listed a whole litany of reasons of why you don't want to tank in this letter. And then they started to try to change some of the processes of the lotto, and also, I think, instituted potential disciplinary actions that could happen. So, like, they've already attempted it once, and they actually attempted it under David Stern as well. Failed miserably. But, you know, it's something that you can't legislate, right? An owner owns a team as long as they keep a certain cap threshold and have players play, they're going to be deemed eligible for competition. So in order to stop tanking, you're going to have to force teams to figure out a way to make teams ineligible for competition, and you can't do that because then you lose money. So like for legislative purposes, boom, you're done. Like there's nothing else to really work through, unfortunately.
interesting. So I guess tanking is just going to keep, you know, going the way it's going for years to come. Then I suppose.
Well, no, because you get smart people who tank correctly, right? Like you don't want to tank multiple years. You should be able to tank, you know, for a year and then be able to get competitive. So, like, watch what Indiana does this year. I think they're doing a great job of it. They identified the young guard they wanted in Tyrese Halliburton. They went in to go get him. They didn't care about the noise on the outside. They're like, hey, we loved him when we scouted him. We wanted to draft him. Sabonis wants out. We're going to hit a reset. Let's chart our course. And that's the course they charted. They're not going to be good this year. They got a lot of great young players. They're going to have a lot of tradable pieces. They're going to have a lot of free cap space. And so next year, you go in with Tyrese Halliburton, another season of experience, closer to really coming into his own game. Because let's be honest, it takes players, even really great players, to achieve their true NBA level game 3-4 years. Look at Darius Garland, it's a great example. And like they're going to be competitive again. But then, like, you look at the process era Sixers, it took us a decade, really. But you can't hamstring an owner on how they want to run their team. So it makes it hard to legislate. That's all.
You're right.
All right. Sorry that it's a crappy answer because I know you want something better.
No. You're actually right. It's just it's overall at the end of the day, it's still a very interesting, you know, process overall. This whole tanking thing. You know what I mean?
I do. I'm against tanking. I think tanking actually sets back your competitiveness as a team. I look at Memphis, look at Toronto, look at Miami. Like, you notice something? Like they ain't tanking. EK, go ahead and go. I gave Tony a co-host. Hopefully that keeps him stable. We also have Nick. Tuts up, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I got a DM and I'm laughing. Nick is a dope dude. I met him first back on Clubhouse now about 2.5 years ago. So I'll be interested to hear what he thinks. And if you know, you know. And if you don't, you don't. And that sucks for you. You should follow him. EK, what do you got?
Yeah, man. So I just wanted to comment on the Draymond Jordan Poole stuff, right? Like I agree with what everybody was saying about it not being the sucker punch. Just, where I'm from, if you extend your hands and push somebody like that, you better put your hands up and be prepared to, throw down. And Jordan Poole's a young guy. I don't really know where he grew up, but I'm 30 plus. And the way I grew up and what I was taught is that if you put your hands on somebody and if you push somebody, you better be prepared to put them hands up because, it's hand down, man down. And that's what happened. And also, I feel like to the point of Draymond not doing it to other teammates, I do agree with you, Chris. I feel like he would do it to other teammates, but I feel like the way he leaned into that punch, like, because normally when you punch somebody, you'll punch and then you'll like step back, try to separate yourself and put your hands up. He put his whole weight into the punch. So that maybe tells me that there was something else behind it. I don't think it was just what he said in that moment. Maybe it had been building for a couple days or whatever, for a couple weeks or whatever. But going back to Victor Wembanyama, I agree with what everybody's been saying about him. I think the tanking sort of subject is important to sort of flesh out because Adam Silver understands the fanfare and the star power that's going to be behind Victor. Every game that he shows up to in the regular season, if he shows up to any games in the regular season, there will be a segment of that game that will be focused on him, regardless of who's playing. Like, think about last night. Like, he was at the Lakers game. He's behind the bench. And they talk about it on the broadcast, right? He understands that, so he knows that like people are going to be looking out for the Spurs and OKC and Houston and Indiana and all these like in Utah, all these bottom tier teams to see how exactly they're going to tank. That's going to create a lot of parity in the league because obviously a lot of people think that he's going to be the second coming of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ in a basketball uniform, but yeah, I feel like all the fanfare and everything like that that's surrounding him is going to sort of promote parity within the league around him. So I think Adam Silver is probably going to let it ride out and be like, listen, I'm not going to hamstring teams on letting them on and asking them or kind of dictating how they should run their team. But at the end of the day, he understands what Victor's going to bring, and wherever he goes, um, is going to that team, in my opinion, the Spurs. Wherever he goes, though, is going to be a very, very good thing for that organization because he's going to bring a lot of fanfare with him. Just seeing the way he interacts with fans as well. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that, Chris.
If he goes to San Antonio, there's going to be a whole frozen envelope 2.0. Like so many people are saying it would be a conspiracy that the Spurs would get three of the best big men prospects in 30 years, and one of those people may be Tony. Tony, good morning. Are you back here with us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. What's up, man?
All
How
right.
you doing? You living?
Yeah, I'm living today. One of those people are not going to be me. I don't want to see the San Antonio Spurs thrive that way. This is just my personal propaganda. Although the idea that they could get this pick and that again, a big man of an elite caliber falls to them to essentially, be a hidden unknown in San Antonio and just live a quiet life like David Robinson. I hate that for Victor. I want to see him succeed and be happy. No one needs to live in San Antonio. There's a few taco stands there, and that's about it. And I just want more for him personally. I'm also
You'd
hoping
rather
he doesn't
see him
go to
thrive in
Sacramento.
Utah?
I'm not, man.
No, he wants him in that Miami nightlife and shit.
No.
Well, yes, but no.
I don't think so. Yeah. I think that this is to go back to what I was saying when I got cut off. What a Sam Bowie type situation for any team that would trade off the first pick. I mean, you just can't risk it. This is the kind of prospect that we're talking about here. A dude that not only moves the needle for your franchise, he shows incredible maturity for his age. With a transcendent skill set that you can project out to be as high as you want it to be, and nobody will call you a lunatic. In the same vein, a lot of people will take odds and go, well, he could get injured really easily because he's so large, and I hear that. But the tantalizing talent that he has, you gotta kind of project it a little bit. And if you were to trade off that pick, I think it would be the worst mistake a GM's ever made. I do also really quickly we were celebrating physicists earlier, and it felt like a holiday. TMZ is very much in the spirit of celebrating physics today. There's no one on the planet that loves the transfer of potential to kinetic energy more than TMZ. So shout outs to them. Thank you so much for supporting physics. And happy birthday, bro. What a platform we have here. We can celebrate multiple birthdays at one time with people that I talk to here, sometimes more than people in my real life. So happy birthday, guys. It's going to be a good day.
All right. Hey, extra point to Tony for pointing out, ladies and gentlemen, that punch force is purely dependent upon the impulse momentum relationship, which is a byproduct. Never mind. I'll stop. I can already hear the crickets. People have already just started saying, what the F? All right. Yeah, there is an entire field of physics devoted to athletic achievement and prowess. And I can explain to you the physics of a punch. It's actually really interesting. It's pretty dope. Tony, I hope everything is good. I've seen you volunteer your time down in Florida after being hit by Hurricane Ian. If there's anything that we can do to help, let us know.
I'm going to have a fundraiser going in probably 2 or 3 days here. I'm just trying to work out some of the legal logistics of everything. We have an effort to try and bring things that are actually useful down to the people impacted by Hurricane Ian in Fort Myers. A lot of food and water going there, and that's great. But they currently need batteries, gas cans, single plate heaters, a lot of different stuff that I don't think is as common that gets donated, as well as clothes. So that requires a good bit of money. We're going to try and do this with a fundraiser, get the support of everyone in South Florida. And then hopefully you guys, I will bring it here and share it. But we'll have all that stuff settled and ready to go in about 2 to 3 days once I work out some of the legal.
All right. And just to let everybody know, the D battery, 36 hours if it's on. That's how long it lasts, 36 hours, right? So if you have zero power and you need to see at night, 36 hours is what a D battery lasts. So your flashlight is only going to be good for 3 days. So like batteries, what he's saying, it's very important. So if you do have, don't send them in mail, by the way. But if you do have the compunction to want to give to help support, make sure you send Tony here a follow. So once we get that up, and they did something similar for Puerto Rico, so make sure you tap in. They did like over 1,000, which is absolutely phenomenal.
And we did that on a stream, and I wish we could have had a more full-fledged out support system for Puerto Rico. It just kind of came at a time where people weren't prepared. This one is even closer to home, and we want to try and split the money as best we can because those residents in Puerto Rico have dealt with 5 years of just traumatic event after traumatic events. But the one here is going to be pretty full. If you're in South Florida and you want to connect with me about, being a part of the project and kind of shifting things from Central Florida down to South Florida, give me a holler and we can talk about that. But yeah, I'll have it ready for you guys, and I'll make sure to share it in here when we're good.
All right, man. Hope you have a great weekend, Tony. All right, up next, Nick Tutts, ladies and gentlemen. 2.5 years that we've been going back and forth talking basketball here on Social Drop in Audio. A phenomenal individual in his own right in terms of producing and creating content. I'm a fan. Nick, what's up, man? Good morning. How you doing?
Hey. Love that we're talking Wembanyama. Love that we're talking news. Love that we're talking hurricane relief. I would say, without getting too far, I think people project a lot when they hear about a fight. And then we project a lot when we see a fight, right? Depending on personal experience, what level of sports you've played, how much you've been around it, your background. I got plenty of people in my life who've never thrown or been thrown at in their whole life. And I think that can be very kind of messy and can color what you're seeing. But I would say one of the more interesting things about this event is not the punch itself. Like, these things happen in practices, they happen in families, brothers fight, sisters fight. I would say this is a very good example of, like, pay attention to where you get your news from. And go back, if you have time, and look at who reported on this initially, how they reported on it, and how it was editorialized. You know, whether it's somebody threw a punch and it's because the other person's getting a little big for their britches, or somebody ate the punch and finished their workout, or whatever the way it was reported on, I would pay attention to that, because all reportage is almost exclusively like eyewitness and firsthand account, and that means you're calling and speaking to people who were at the event, or you were at the event. Now, this is closed practice. I don't think any of the reporters were there. I think had they been, we would have found out a different story earlier. But I do think it's just a good way to, like, evaluate your news sources and figure out, like, who you follow, what they say, and why they're saying it. And that's not to delegitimize anybody's reporting or legitimize anybody's reporting. It's just to be as, like, holistic as you can when you're taking in your sports news. And then I think you should take that, and as somebody who worked in politics and news for a long time before I got to sports, you should apply that to, like, all the other news you get out there. Who's telling the story? Who are they talking to, and why are they telling the story? I think is a very important lesson. And I think that's something that's, like, playing out in real time. And it's, you know, some of the initial reporting drew a lot of questions. And I think now we've seen the video, and a lot of those questions have been borne out. And now there's bigger questions as to, like, how does a video like this get out? You know, I think it's easy to chalk things up to rogue interns, and that could be the case. But, like, who benefits from the video being out? Who benefited from the video not being out? You know, who benefits from this going away? Who benefits from this staying in the news cycle? And like, ultimately, like, who is helped and hurt by this? Obviously, Jordan Poole taking a beating, JP the slump god, seeing a lot of trending and hashtags and memes, and he'll probably, you know, have to eat that for the first couple of days of the news cycle. But long term, is this better for Jordan Poole, or does it hurt him? Does it mess up his money? Does it affect his money? Does it help his money? And flip side, you've got an established kind of face of a franchise guy who's also on the back end of his career, on the back end of his effectiveness, on the back end of his time, probably as, like, an NBA guy. And what does that mean to have this video out for him? And how is that going to impact the way we think of him when we associate, you know, Draymond with, you know, various getting suspended in Game 6, nut punchings, you know, things like that? Like, is that going to affect how we think of him as people? Will it affect kind of his basketball career going forward? Is his kind of clock being started on the way out of the Warriors? And what does it do after that? To me, that stuff will be very interesting to watch play out after. And is more interesting than the play-by-play of who put whose hands on who first, who was the aggressor, who should have had their hands up, hands down, man's up. I do think those are all fun to talk about, but I think there are, like, some larger, more interesting topics kind of floating around in a more ethereal manner around the story. And I just think it's a good time to kind of evaluate your news sources, who you follow, why you follow them, and just do a little bit of critical reading.
I agree 100%. And, like, one of the things that I said last night when I was talking to somebody on the phone is just less than 2 months ago, an entire brawl broke out in the Patriots-Panthers scrimmage practice. Like, I know because, like, it made the news, but I know because I actually, like, I know a player. And he was like, "You won't believe what happened." It's like, of course I believe it. And, like, it disappeared. Nobody's talking about it. What makes this one worse is that because it's not considered a violent sport like football, we're not conditioned to think that this happens. And, like, I challenge you, go back to when you played your sports, even when you were a kid. Like, these practice confrontations happen. Why are we making it larger than what it was? And the
Yes.
simply said,
well, it's because it's Draymond. That's why it's happening. A lot of
Well,
people
no,
don't
it's
already
also
like
It
like
him.
happens more than we
because
realize. It just doesn't get
it
out.
does.
Like
But that's
like
why.
really,
But that's
like
why it's
really,
a
guys,
story.
come on.
That's why it's a
But
story
because it's Draymond
because
Green
we
and
don't
people,
realize it, and the average fan isn't familiar with a highly competitive athletic environment, isn't familiar with like people fighting for contracts, like engaged in physical activity in order to put food on the plate, in like direct competition with other people, like, and the stakes are high in a way that like most people who are weekend.
All right, he might have gotten a phone call.
but see, remember this happened before years ago. Remember when what's his name, Bobby Portis knocked out what's his name, Nikola Mirotic,
Yeah,
and he broke his. I think he broke his jaw, right?
yeah, yeah.
And the only difference was that we didn't have a video of that altercation. But I think a lot of this, yeah, there's a video and all of that.
Well,
but the thing is, people are jumping on it so much is because it's Draymond, right? People already don't like Draymond.
let me tell you a story, okay? Hall of Fame player, perennial All-Star player that led his team to an NBA Finals championship, punches his former teammate in a game. Who am I talking about? Does anybody know? It's Isaiah Thomas and Rick Mahorn. You don't think Isaiah Thomas and Rick Mahorn didn't fight in practice in Detroit? Like, Rick Mahorn said, like, he was one of the cockiest dudes ever. Like, I hated him at times. Like, him and Bill Laimbeer fought. You know, like, everyone says, oh, MJ punched Kerr. You think that was the only fight? Go talk to Ron Harper. ask Ron Harper how many people he stepped in between. Like, you think Scottie Pippen didn't irritate teammates? Like, you think nothing happened with the '90s Knicks?
Didn't Scott Skiles and Shaq get into it too one time?
Dude, Shaq probably would have ended his life. Like, this happens, and yet because it's Draymond Green, like, all of a sudden, Nick, the whole world is, oh my God, we got to talk about it. And to me, like, they handled it the right way. If you are a team, look what they did. They put out a statement. They admitted something happened. They said more details were to come. They let some cool down time commence. Apologies were already in commencement. Draymond comes back in the morning, apologized directly in person to the team. Statements released by, the players. Everything's wrapped up. And like Nick said, why does this video come out? Who puts it out? Who benefits? Who does it hurt? Like, it was done. It was over. And now it's not.
Yeah, I have to be honest. This is not the only fight that's ever happened in the NBA. The only fight happened in the NBA now. We just have it on video. And we don't hear about those incidents. They'll be fine. They'll be battling this season, and they'll be in probably the Western Conference Finals again if the Clippers or the Nuggets or any of these other teams aren't there. They'll be right there. Like, they'll continue on, play their games, and keep winning. And just they're the Warriors. This is a minor blip on the screen, quite frankly.
Yeah, they aren't even like it's going to be addressed. It's something that'll be worked out because they are a very progressive organization, not in terms of politics, but in terms on how they actually tackle issues. I've always been impressed with the last basically 15 years of how they've been able to operate their team. All right, real quick before we get out of here, I want to make sure Saint comes back in. He's been quiet for a good half hour. I want to make sure that he didn't go ahead and get started on his birthday celebration too early. Saint, what do you have for us, man? What are you thinking about this Draymond Poole situation? What else do you want to hop in terms of basketball before you get ready to wrap up?
I listen. I've been here. I just sometimes you learn when not to hop in when conversation is good, just to hear yourself speak. So, that's sometimes why I'm quiet. Listen, Draymond. Like this stuff happens all the time. the video seems like, to me, it seems like there's an intentional reason for somebody to drop that. Like, it could have just been swept under the carpet, like probably a ton of these situations are. Um, you have a bunch of competitive individuals, some younger, some older, some view things differently. Words do get exchanged. Nothing is ever going to be 100% perfect. Um, I mean, listen, I tell my kids, and somebody said it before, I'm like, if you're arguing with a kid at school, and I don't encourage violence, but I'm just like, A, you need to protect yourself, but also understand if you initiate contact with somebody, you must be prepared to protect yourself no matter what, because not everybody is going to view the situation the way you are. Um, and you need to learn to protect yourself. And Poole did not. Poole did not get that warning. I don't think it's a big deal, honestly. At the end of the day, I think he will get a punishment and that he will come back. I do, however, believe that keeping Draymond and getting a max contract is not going to be in his cards. Quite honestly, I'm not feeling it. Like, I think they see that the writing's on the wall with Draymond. He does bring something to that team, but I just think this is going to be one of those things because they are going to be faced with having to sign some individuals, and I'm not quite sure you want to dump all that money into Draymond at this point. Whether that punch affects it, that would suck for him. But listen, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I don't think it's a big deal, quite honestly. But as far as like, hey, I'm working a ton now. I'm back to working like crazy, doing 60-hour work weeks in like 4 days. So I'm going to be hit or miss. I know the content that AJ puts out that I'll be there spotty here and there, but listen, I'm going to be here through all the highs and lows of the Nets this season. I'm here for it. I'm going to hop in here when I can and participate. It's probably only going to be Fridays, but listen, and I'll give shout out to you because for me, listening to you has become part of my morning, and I'm stoked. And this is a plug for you: is that YouTube dropping it on YouTube has been great. I know you did that more towards the end of the last season of Hoop Spaces, but I'm looking forward to it for the beginning of this season because I'm unfortunately going to be missing a lot of the shows that I like to participate in, and yours being one of them. So expect Friday for me to be like verbal diarrhea when I hop on your show. But yeah, I appreciate that, and I'm looking forward, man. I'm glad things are getting back, and I'm here for it. I'm ready to. This year, I really want to be more involved with all around NBA, not just the Nets. So I'm going to be diving into more games so I can contribute more in conversations because that's what your show has done for me is broaden my horizons. So I appreciate you, and I hope you do have a good birthday, bro.
You too, Saint. And if everybody doesn't realize that it is Saint's birthday, do us a favor, shoot him a follow. He does amazing Nets content with Nets Kingdom AJ. You can catch him on the streams over on YouTube. Tons of Nets fans and stars pop in and converse about the team that you guys love. And he's doing this here also with Brandon. Malika will be there. Hop in some of these other team spaces that we have going so you can get the flavor and flair of the other team. And sometimes, most times, believe it or not, if you sit back and you hear a different perspective, it sharpens your own. Evan Turner and Lance Stevenson got into a fight, y'all. Like, Evan Turner and Lance Stevenson got in a fight. Not Lance Stevenson. We understand Lance. Evan Turner, and punches were thrown. Shaq and Kobe, punches were thrown. Now, according to Odin Polynice, none of those punches landed. I don't think that was the case. I just
DeMarcus Cousins and Dante Green.
Oh, bro.
And I'm sure DeMarcus Cousins got into more fights. I mean, come on.
Bro, I'm not going to talk about DeMarcus Cousins. I love the young man. Phenomenal player out of the University of Kentucky. Go Boogie. You don't mess with Boogie, yo. But take Boogie out of his Zen place, man. I dare you. You won't like what happens. He's a good guy. Just let him be. There's also one. I want to say it was Kendall Gill and Jim McIlvaine. This was the choke story you never heard. Like, they got into it, just like Spreewell and PJ Carlissimo, right? Like, again, it happens. What we have now is somebody, and you can't rule out possible stadium employees either, unfortunately, who saw a payday and is now, gave a video to TMZ. I hope they paycheck was fat. I couldn't do it. All right, Nick, what do you got closing out, man? What's your final take for the day? Uh-oh. Hate to see it.
Oh, you called me up, sir.
No, Nick, but I'm glad it was, like, I know it was you too now. Thanks for telling on yourself.
That's what you know. Like, dude, think about that. You got people coming up that are paranoid about that horn. Like, they didn't even hear their name, and they're like, "Was that me?" Like,
Trent. We've got what we call momentum, and all momentum is the fact that people like you are willing to come in here and listen to the chicanery that happens, and you have a passion for the sport of basketball like I do, and I want to say thank you. Right on my birthday, I try to thank others as opposed to making it about me. Right, I just completed 365 days, 13 hours, and 47 minutes of life, and every single person who's come in here, come up on stage, and has been gracious and kind enough to share their love and passion of basketball with me is my gift. That is a gift. Every day is a gift when you look at it that way. So for me, for a year, I want to say thank you, because honestly, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Because just think about it, if it wasn't for you, I'd be sitting here talking to myself, and that would be kind of weird. Make sure you get coleslaw this weekend. It's elite. And if you are on your bike at night, as Tony Kornheiser says, do wear white. And I'm going to hit this button because it's time to go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are brought to you by Slam Goods. Make sure you head over to slamgoods.com. It's hoodie season. Hell, it was 39 degrees this morning. Cold. They got some hoodies on sale, and not the cheap hoodies that like the Gildan hoodies that you get at your school thing. Nah, these are that thick quality cotton.
Can I just say one thing before you close out?
Yeah.
Real quick, we had a show last night the other night, looking at the top 5 power forwards, and some interesting names came up. I have a pin to the Jumbotron. Our next room on the Rewind, we'll be looking at the Redeem Team doc that debuted today on Netflix. So we'll be looking at that. We'll be discussing it next week. And we're also going to discuss the top centers all time soon. Because I've been meaning to do that room for a while. So that's what I have coming up. Check me out. But looking forward to regular season NBA soon.
All right. Make sure you check out the Rewind, y'all. It's a different type of perspective. Great shows looking at the history of what we love. And also now getting ready to get more of an engagement content, spreading the wings from being more of a documentary style show to now also giving you a chance to give us your perspective in a more detailed frame. All right, now I'm going to hit the button again. There we go. Brought to you by Slam Goods. Hoodie season now. Slam Goods, you go. Pay money, get hoodie. Use promo code HoopSpaces. Save money good, 15% off. Site-wide purchase. Go buy hoodie, Slam Goods. Now, I know that seemed really weird, but all I really wanted to do was say Slam Goods several times so that you would remember to go to slamgoods.com. Slamgoods.com, promo code HoopSpaces. Go pick up a copy of the pickup card game. You'll save literally $3.75 and have a lifetime of memories. Monday, we start. Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Hey, if you are a potential sponsor or partner and you want to actually team up, like there's an email address in the profiles, chris@hoopspaces.com. Literally been there forever. Reach out. Like, I don't bite unless you offer me coleslaw. Peace out. Have a good weekend.